really care. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org.
You're up and it's still dark. Kick back with a cup of joe. You know you've got friends waiting on 1620 The Zone. It's Happer and Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike. Listen on the radio stream or YouTube or podcasts. Anytime it feels right. It's Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer.
Good morning and welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It is Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone. 1620thezone.com. The Zone mobile app, the Zone radio network. And Mike Schaefer, Jake Janicek are both back again. Hello, guys.
Hello, Connor Happer. Did you stay up celebrating a victory for your Kansas City Royals?
No celebrating, just a sense of relief came over that they were not going to match the New York Mets in losses, although they hadn't quite caught them on the losing streak yet. But as far as worst record in the league, they were able to win last night. I was pretty sure that they weren't going to get a hit in a 5-5 game with runners on second and third and one out in the bottom of the ninth with a chance to walk it off. So they had to find another way, and that way was a wild pitch.
Always fun. Always a good one.
I don't know. I kind of felt sad about it, actually. I was like, in order to break the streak, you have to, I feel like you have to kind of go take it, you know? They didn't really do that. I guess Michael Massey had a homer and tie the game in the eighth inning. So
beggars can't be choosers.
I don't know. It would have felt a little bit more whole. It would have felt a little bit more whole if they would have actually won it on a hit. Or if one of like the truly struggling guys, one of the two who both came up with the game on the line last night, Vinny Pasquantino and Salvador Perez, if they would have gotten that hit, then I would have felt a lot better, actually.
Okay. Look, maybe it's just because I root for a team that routinely finds ways to win games on infield singles and just the dumbest type of bloop hits. I think I'm just sort of used to not expecting any kind of like magical, majestic home run. Just like a blooper that hits off of two baseball gloves and flies into left.
I don't need some big towering home run. I just need a single.
Sure. Yeah. Well, sometimes those are hard to get.
Honestly, a bloop would have felt great. Wild pitches, I don't know.
Imagine.
You're not even doing anything.
I would imagine.
You're just standing there.
I got to revel in baseball glory as well. Cleveland came back. They have a weirdly fun team. I'm starting to I came in with no expectation and actually that's not true. I came in expecting to be annoyed by how bad they were going to be this year when it was avoidable. But now all their young players are playing well and they're like
shocking,
loose and fun, and Jose's doing Jose things. They're pretty fun right now.
Shocked to hear.
I am enjoying it.
Shocked to hear that their $12 players are playing well. It always happens.
Not always. They've had a few years where their $12 players were playing like $2 players. They just again found inexplicable ways to win games. Now they're actually like scoring runs. It's weird.
It's odd.
Granted, they're playing the Houston pitching staff, which is atrocious.
You could try to change the dynamic of the AL Central, but it will never, you could think you know what you know, but Turns out the Twins are halfway decent.
No, they're gonna go away.
Yeah, they're not good. They're not good. So there you
I'm
go.
sure.
Baseball teams won last night. The local baseball team that played last night did not win.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that.
They did not win.
They did not do many of the things that they had done well prior to coming into that game either.
No. What I think the most, well, we'll talk about it a little bit later. The most jarring thing from that game is Unger getting touched up. I was like, oh no.
There was that.
You put him in the game. Obviously, you didn't play very good defense and you gave up but like some of those other guys that were pitching, it was like, yeah,
Right.
Was Cyhorn really going to shove for the 5th time in 6 games? Like, okay.
I'm a little surprised they even pitched him, to be honest.
Same. And Clark has been, not great. So, like, what can you expect from those guys? But they brought in Unger in like a what is it? Still a 1-run game at the time, and he gets beat up a little bit. I'm like, oh no, that feels like it's poisoned something. That's not good.
No, there was. We'll get into it. There was definitely some. That's uncharacteristic.
Okay.
So, I guess we'll plan on the regional being in Lawrence.
Oh no, they're back to not hosting a regional again.
To be fair, this show never thought they were hosting a regional.
I know.
So we're just consistent with it, and as discussed, they might as well just go play in the Kansas regional.
Oh no, you're talking about the very localized regional that we created out of thin air yesterday.
As far as I know, that's the plan at 9:40 today is to go through that region. So,
you want to actually sim that region? Yes. Okay. Well, I have to create the
You'd
rest
have to
of
do the whole
bracket.
That's probably not worth it.
Yeah.
If they let you do a drag and drop.
I might be able to generate it. I actually might be able to do it. That website is pretty intuitive. It works pretty well.
It's a great website.
Anyway, welcome to the show. It is Wednesday here on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. Today, coming up, we will talk to our good friend, Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald at 8:30. Lauren Michelson rejoins coming up today at 9:15. That is our lineup. We'd love to hear from you all. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed at Happer and Schaefer, at Connor Happer, at Mike J. Schaefer. Email Connor or Mike at 1620thezone.com. On the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers today, of which Debo says, yup, as he always does. Where's Kevin?
Is he not in?
Where's Kevin to say good morning?
Yeah, what?
It is very, very, very confusing at this point. So thank you for being here, everyone, as always. Elsewhere today on the show, a lot of different things going on. We'll jump into maybe some more football topics. Matt Rules talked yesterday. Did you see this?
I know he was on a local show.
Yes, it's not a radio show.
He said some things, as he does, and some of it was received, as it is, poorly. So
that was very vague.
Yeah, well, I mean,
wait. I didn't see it received poorly yesterday. I thought yes. So one of my topics today is like I felt like he talked yesterday, and for the first time in a while, it wasn't met with like pure, unadulterated, uncaged hatred toward it.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, I don't know that it was like hatred. He had like some NIL commentary that just, again, I don't know.
Really? I'm sure nothing he said really bothered me.
Okay, well, yeah. That's fine.
Right,
I'm not over here bothered. I'm just saying I saw a reaction to it where it's like,
All right. Well, we'll talk about that on the show today. Nebraska baseball, as we mentioned, loses to Kansas. We'll jump into some other. There was another college baseball thing that has some Schadenfreude to it that we could talk about as well. Big announcement coming up today in Kansas City. What could it be? Who knows? Stay tuned to find out. Mike Vrabel talks about his situationship. He was. You
want to talk about vague?
Yeah, he was
vague posting.
He was vague posting with his words.
That was a pathetic word salad.
We'll look around college basketball a little bit and find someone in the transfer portal for the 7th time, I believe. and he played at Creighton.
Hooray.
almost
Could he come back?
almost a decade ago. I don't think he's gonna. I don't know what his angle to get his 9th year of college basketball will be. Antoine Jones, who played here in 2020/2021 and had already transferred from another school. But I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's coming here. We have baseball tonight on 1620 The Zone. Local baseball. It could be a future regional matchup.
Wow.
At least according to us. Between Creighton and Omaha.
The Happer and Schaefer prognostication system places these two teams in the same region.
That's right. You never know. So listen up on 1620 The Zone. Oh, just a mere 11 hours and 51 minutes from right now. We can talk about Emmett Johnson ahead of the draft and a draft topic, of course, as well. There you go. That's what we're talking about today. That and only that. I will accept no other topics.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just kidding. I will accept any other topics.
He will accept other things to discuss.
There's a chance. There's a 75% chance we only get to about 40% of the things that I just said.
We're pretty consistent with that.
There's a 60% chance it works every time.
I went into the sheet yesterday and I was like, we got things. We're good. We're covered.
Yeah.
Nobody needs me to add anything about the presidential committee and how they feel about the college football playoff.
Oh, what I see. The reason that I like when you put stuff on there is because you oftentimes see things that I don't.
Okay. Well,
because
admittedly,
I'm in my very own bubble. I don't really know.
That's right.
Yeah, I would love to hear about other things.
Okay.
That are going on.
We'll consider that.
Perhaps. All right. So that is the setup for today's show. Hot and windy. That's the name of the game today.
Gotta love it.
Took it yesterday. I moved a bed yesterday. That was sort of a challenge. It was sort of very hot, and then you have to do all the things that come with moving the bed as well. So there was some sweating and some soreness, and I'm very tired.
You moved it from like a room to room, or
no? We moved it from a house to a house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mattresses can be kind of annoying just to deal with.
There was strapping it on top of a roof, that entire thing. But we got it done, and we're moving on to the next thing. So who knows what will come of Project House 2026 today. Mike writes in, he says, Hot and Windy is the name of my radio show. That would be a good name for a radio show a person who wanted to talk about a certain set of things.
Wind and heat?
No.
Oh.
I think it's a metaphor.
Oh.
Windy, windy like the politicians.
Oh, I just assumed.
Hey, if you want to talk politics, you just call it Hot and Windy. Hey, you're Clay Travis. He can call his show Hot and Windy.
I assumed it was a summer radio show in Chicago.
A summer radio show?
Yeah.
I would love to hear a summer radio show. What would it sound like? Would
they just be
playing the Beach Boys all the time?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
All right.
I'd be okay with that. I don't know why a sports talk show would be playing the Beach Boys that much.
Bump music.
Actually, that'd be pretty great.
Only Beach Boys in the summer.
When Joey comes back, we're going to tell him we want our bump music to be only Beach Boys.
Yeah, when do we transition to being a summer radio show?
Do you have to wait until June 22nd?
Hey, I'm asking you. We can make up the time whenever you want.
Do we need to change the definitions of the seasons to better reflect what actually occurs?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, we don't actually need to change it, but
universally it should be understood that June 22nd doesn't work. November, whatever it is, doesn't work.
Correct.
These things are wrong.
Not for us anyway. But I think the universal accepting of summer is Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's make it that. Let's
right.
move on from things here.
Okay.
I don't like the old ways. New ways only.
Yeah. But for us, I mean, would you prefer to get a little bit more granular and talk about how it is deathly hot and we breathe unbreathable air in August? What do we call that?
That is hell.
Okay.
The worst. I mean, August.
So we add a fifth season and it's hell.
August is one of the worst months in this state because of that.
Oh, it's definitely really bad.
I would argue that summer in Nebraska goes almost into the second week of October anymore. I mean, you have so many days that are 80s, 90s into October. You get your 2 weeks of fall, and then you're just into dreary sort of, winter.
Mm-hmm.
There's really only 2 seasons in Nebraska. There's never-ending winter, and then there's summer.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are right now in the process of skipping from winter to summer.
Yeah.
Where basically we're in the time period where you wake up and it will, one thing, it's going to be incredibly windy, but the second thing is you don't know if it's going to be like 46 degrees or 82.
Yeah.
And so it's not anywhere in between.
And
usually.
we just don't get precipitation anymore.
That's right.
Just
Drought
dry.
boys.
Your dirt lawn and my lawn are about the same.
So would you like to start summer now? Would you like to call this a summer radio show?
I think
when the kids get out of school, when the little kiddies get out of school.
That does seem like a decent one. Maybe the week before Memorial Day is when summer actually starts.
May 20-something.
Yeah. May 20-something sounds like a good
Actually,
time
Memorial Day is early this year. Memorial Day is
the 24th or something, right?
Yeah, Memorial Day is the 25th, which is my birthday.
Well, there you go. You get to celebrate your birthday with a day off from radio.
So we're calling it summer on May 18th. How about at the day after Mother's Day, May 11th?
Okay, I can live with that.
Don't we got some
What
days
about
of
May
60s coming up?
12th in Nebraska Creighton
Who
can be
knows,
the
Jake?
official start of summer?
The last day of Nebraska Creighton, May 12th.
Yes.
How about that week the college baseball regular season will wrap up? Right.
Okay, I like this.
You'll be going into the conference tournaments the next week.
So conference tournament week is the start of summer.
It's like feast week in basketball, except for it's not about conference tournament. That's not about conference tournaments. This is a changing of the guard, a changing of the season. So
I like it.
We are pinpointing May 18th as the start of summer.
I'm good with it.
All right. It has to start on a Monday, as we know. May 18th, the start of summer as declared by Happer and Schaefer. Only floral shirts from there on out.
Oh, wow.
Floral shirts and Beach Boys.
Can we get some floral shirts that are made with Happer and
It'd be
Schaefer
really
on
funny.
That'd be
like,
good.
some radio stations turned into like Christmas stations for a while before Christmas and during Christmas. Like, if we changed all of our bump songs to Beach Boys for 4 months, how annoying would that be?
People would be so sick of
Kokomo. They would be, I know, it would be Kokomo. If we changed all of our songs to summer songs starting on May 18th, how quickly do you think people would A, pick it up, and B, get sick of it immediately after that?
We need Joey's not here. Who knows if he's going to listen? We need to write this down, though. So it actually happens that on May 18th, we're playing Beach Boys for the bump music.
Okay. All right.
That needs to be a thing. I don't know that it needs to be a thing beyond May 18th, but at least on May 18th, I would love to be surprised by this occurring because I will undoubtedly forget.
Well, I definitely will too, because I'll be potentially in the Cincinnati metropolitan area.
You'll be in Prasco Park
potentially.
So me and another Mike S will be listening to.
I'll probably do the show. It'll be in Eastern time zone, and it will be 4 o'clock in the morning.
It'll be easier than going west.
A little bit. All right. So get ready for that. May 18th, Beach Boys only, folks. Get prepared. All right. We're off and running on a Wednesday. God, it's only Wednesday. What the hell is going on? We're back after this on 1620 The Zone.
A warm and breezy day ahead for Wednesday. Expect partly to mostly sunny skies. South wind gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour for most of the day. Highs in the low to mid 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
From the Plum Rate Time Saving Traffic Center. Pretty quiet right now early on this Wednesday morning. Just a heads up, I-80 eastbound from about 60th to the JFK split. There are some overnight lane restrictions. All those lanes should be opened up pretty soon. but as of right now, might be moving a little bit slower in that area. Aside from that, things looking good, and I will get updates to you. I'm Peter Krenzer.
Welcome to this episode of RV Ready, brought to you by Leach Camper Sales in Council Bluffs by Lake Manawa. Looks like the open road is calling.
Call me Rudy. Time's a wasting, people. Mountains, lakes, rivers, campsites, all of it is waiting for you. Leach Camper Sales has the RV for you, and I am calling you out here.
Sounds like people should head to leachcamper.com and check out the inventory, or just stop by Leach Camper Sales in Council Bluffs.
And don't forget,
the coffee's always on.
Of course it is.
Hi, everybody. Kent Pavelka here to talk about your local concrete experts at Everlevel Concrete Repair. Now, if you have cracked or uneven concrete, Everlevel can do it all with their complete repair solutions. They fix cracks, lift sunken slabs, and protect the surface, all at a fraction of the price compared to replacement. And better yet, they offer long-term transferable warranties. I'm so glad I chose Everlevel for my driveway. Give them a call for your free inspection. That's Everlevel, Everlevel, Everlevel. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Last night in Denver, the Padres became the first visiting team to win a 1-0 game at Coors Field since 2006. 1-0 at Coors Field doesn't happen that often. In fact, only 12 times ever.
Yeah, I saw that this morning and was pretty stunned by that. I know they haven't been around that long, about 31 years.
Yeah, what, 96?
94 is what
94? Yeah.
So I guess it'd be 32 years.
That's when they birthed that dinosaur in the outfield from the egg. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And so I was surprised that it's only been 12 times, and you think about it, and it's famously a place where a lot of runs get scored. So.
I mean, 12 times of 81 games over 30 plus years is like, okay. I mean,
yeah,
that's not very much.
No,
that's not very many times. And the first visitor to win a 1-0 game at Coors in 20 years
or 20 seasons,
which is pretty remarkable. So there you go. There's always something good as far as the baseball stats are concerned. Okay, the NFL draft is tomorrow, and I know that my dear friend Mike Schaefer loves talking about NFL quarterbacks.
Oh, I love it.
And so when I started this, I'll take you inside my brain a little bit. When I started this while the Royals were blowing a lead the other night, I really didn't know where I was going to take it. I just wanted to get a list of all of the first round quarterbacks for the last 10 years, and I wanted to see them. I wanted to see if I could see any trends or find anything or anything like that. Mostly because I'm looking at this draft that we have ahead tomorrow night. I think there's only going to be one quarterback drafted in the first round.
Yeah, it really depends on if someone likes Ty Simpson so much that they jump into the back half of the first,
which would be an odd take by that team.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's one quarterback in this draft that you should be relatively interested in from could be a franchise level guy, and that's the guy who's going to go 1-1, and everything else is you take him, and
he's going to go 1-1, and he's going to go to the Raiders. Right. Which, I mean, there's some real bad quarterback years in this draft, but this could match, or over the last 10 years, real bad first rounds. This could match. This could look a lot like 2022, where it was just Kenny Pickett who went in the 20s in the first round, and he hasn't done obviously anything in his career.
He's on his 4th or 5th team.
He has played for many teams at this point. And he, that's it. That was it for that draft. I don't know what the future holds for Fernando Mendoza, but I can tell you that it automatically takes a step down in my brain because he's going to play for the Raiders. I don't know. I have yet to be proved. It is yet to be proved to me that they have anything actually tangibly moving in the right direction there.
They have Brock Bowers. That's about what they have.
They do have Brock Bowers.
He's incredible.
He is very good. So
is that enough? Probably not.
Here are the first round quarterbacks from the last 10 drafts by postseason wins. Here's how many postseason wins, and I'm talking about games that they started, that each of these first-round quarterbacks has. Obviously, very early for Cam Ward and Jackson Dart. They both sucked last year. Jackson Dart got hurt, and Cam Ward's team was bad. 2024, Caleb Williams has a playoff win. Jaden Daniels has 2. Drake May now has 3. Michael Penix, 0. J.J. McCarthy, not 9, 0. Bo Nix, 1 from this past year. And then, of course, he sat out the second game because
in protest. No,
it was not in protest. He somehow screwed up his leg on the kneel down or whatever it was in that Bills game, which is, we don't talk about that enough, probably.
No,
well, it was a wild time.
I did text you about that game earlier this week, and it was very much what if the Bills had just won that game? They'd probably win the Super Bowl.
They would probably have gone to.
They would have at least played in the Super Bowl.
Gone to the Super Bowl.
The Seahawks defense could have been problematic.
Yeah, I think they would have gone to the Super Bowl.
Instead, I think they would have beaten that Patriots team.
Instead, we got Pooper Bowl.
Wasn't that bad?
It was kind of
pretty bad.
All right, 2023. Here's a bad one. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, a combined 3 playoff wins amongst the 3 of them, and CJ Stroud is the winner of all 3. And I am not able to tell you that CJ Stroud is really headed on an upward trajectory in his career at this point. It feels like his best years. You hate to say his best years are behind him, but man, he had a pretty good rookie year, and that's kind of it.
Can I explain? I'm annoyed by this because I was out on CJ Stroud when he was drafted. Like, I didn't think he was particularly good. And then he has that monster rookie year, and I have to reassess what I completely missed on it. And then now he's playing more like the version of himself that I expected that we would get. I really don't understand what happened.
I had the complete opposite viewpoint. I'm a CJ Stroud guy. Like
this was one of our conversations.
I'm a CJ Stroud believer. I
Yep.
believe he is under the guise of a program and a head coach who only thinks and cares about defense and therefore gets no development as an offensive player and a quarterback. And so we'll see what happens in CJ Stroud's future. But as long as he's there with D'Amico Ryans, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go for him. Bryce Young, maybe Bryce Young could get his first playoff win this year. Anthony Richardson will not be doing that. Kenny Pickett in 22 at 0. 2021, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones. That was a heavy quarterback first round. They have a combined 1 playoff win amongst the 5 of them.
4 quarterbacks taken in the top 10 picks, 1 playoff win.
Mac Jones has moved into a different portion of his career, as is Justin Fields. Trey Lance no longer really has a career. Same thing with Zach Wilson, and Trevor Lawrence is a good NFL player and will probably win like a couple more playoff games.
Yes.
In his career. 2020, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, and Jordan Love, a combined 6 playoff wins, 5 of which by Joe Burrow over the span of 2 seasons, and then 1 by Jordan Love against the Cowboys that one time, which was Jordan Love has definitely the funniest playoff win out of anyone here.
I didn't know that was a category, but it would be hard-pressed to disagree.
I just made it up. It's funny how Justin Herbert still has 0.
They've actually played, like, that group, that 2020 group has played in a fair amount of playoffs.
They have. They're all very competitive.
They just haven't won them in the case of Justin Herbert.
Kyler Murray in 2019, 0. Daniel Jones, 1. Dwayne Haskins, sadly, 0.
Yeah, well, I hope that Kyler Murray gets to put at least a 1 next to his name.
Will he be able to do it as a starter?
Well, yeah, I would think that he'll start over JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, this year. Yeah.
Will they make the playoffs? Probably the tougher answer of the two.
2018, this was a big draft. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson. As it became pretty evident that Josh Rosen wasn't going to be the guy, you take him out. He was not able to win any playoff games in his career. Baker Mayfield has 2. Sam Darnold now has all 3 of his playoff wins from this past Super Bowl run. Josh Allen has 8 and not even an appearance in the Super Bowl. And Lamar Jackson has really 3 measly, meaningless playoff wins, resulting in nothing.
I wonder how much money you could have made a couple years ago saying that the first quarterback in that group to win a Super Bowl would be Sam Darnold.
Like 3 years ago?
Like basically before the Vikings.
Like when Sam Darnold was on the Panthers?
Yes.
Yeah. A lot.
The odds would have been astronomical.
Yeah, because you would have had Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
And even Baker Mayfield at that point.
Baker wasn't quite Baker
the
was
year before. So the last year he's with the Panthers the last year he's with the Panthers was the year before Baker. The year that he spent with the 49ers was the year that Baker and the Bucks kind of had their breakout. And then, so if you would have been like, hey, Sam Darnold's actually going to be the guy, those odds would have just been
astronomical.
Yeah.
Astronomical. 2017, Mitch Trubisky, 0. Patrick Mahomes, 17.
That number is so jarring.
Deshaun Watson, 1. 2016, Jared Goff, 4. Carson Wentz, 0. And Paxton Lynch, 0. Dear God. You know, the thing that I notice is there's some bad quarterbacks on this list, but they all end up being NFL starters. And they get, obviously chances to do it with their team that they were drafted by, but they get second chances a lot of the times, except for Paxton Lynch.
Well, and Josh Rosen.
And Josh Rosen. I
think if you were going to reverse rank this, it would be an argument between Paxton Lynch and Josh Rosen for worst quarterback.
Yep.
And then the other, and then Kenny Pickett.
It'd be Kenny Pickett, and then probably some combo of Richardson, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones.
Yeah, I think Mac Jones is probably Trey Lance actually needs to be somewhere
Trey
on there.
Lance needs to be in there. Yeah. And Trubisky. We didn't talk about Trubisky.
Yeah. But Trubisky's settled in nicely as like a backup quarterback. Like some of it is these guys missed the mark on being stars. But there's several players in here where like Mac Jones is going to have a nice NFL career because he can just be a backup quarterback,
Absolutely.
bounce around and make a bunch of Kirk Cousins level money because there's always a need for a guy like that can play quarterback. And he fits certain systems, not other systems. I think the thing that has stood out to me for a long time is when you go through here and you divide it up by AFC, NFC, the AFC has taken so many more first-round quarterbacks than the NFC.
Oh,
has
good one.
in this run. I mean, like, we don't need to sit through here and count it, but just think about all the different names. So, like, 2016, you have Goff and you have Wentz, and those represent a fair amount of NFC quarterbacks that, played for a while. You have Trubisky, but in there, you end up with Mahomes and Watson. And then the next one, Baker Mayfield, Cleveland, Jets for Sam Darnold, Bills for Josh Allen, Ravens for Lamar Jackson.
After like, because I remember talking about this at the time, it was basically after the 21 draft, like when Lawrence came into the league, and then you had this very obvious changeover, and Brady was out of the AFC by that point. And so it was Lawrence, Burrow,
Tua, Herbert,
Allen, and Mahomes, and Tua and Herbert.
Yeah, you had a bunch of first-round quarterbacks, top 10 quarterbacks, and then after you go after 21, Kenny Pickett, Steelers, C.J. Stroud, Texans, Anthony Richardson, Colts, and then you get a couple more NFC in there.
And by the way, like before, obviously this is before Stroud got drafted, but you were still planning on Watson being the quarterback in Houston, the AFC, for a very, very long time after that as well. And he was, he was gonna be the one guy to maybe try to challenge, not one guy, but he was gonna be a main challenger to Mahomes.
The one of these amazing sort of NFL what ifs. The first year that the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, they're down 24-0 against the Texans in the second quarter. And then ripped off 52 points?
Yeah, it was that game? Like in 10 seconds.
It was an earthquake of scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember that. I remember
it vividly.
So the Texans are up 21-0, and they need like 1 yard to get a first down, and they end up kicking the field goal. And I think I even tweeted out, I was just like, that feels like such a surrender field goal or something like that. Probably wasn't surrender field goal, but along those lines. And then the Chiefs immediately.
The dam just completely broke.
It felt like the Texans were winning, but not like dominating in a game that they were up 3 scores at that point.
Yeah.
I think my whole thing was you went from 3 scores to 3 scores. You didn't add anything to it.
So some breakdowns here. We're looking at 35 first-round quarterbacks over the last 10 drafts. So we're averaging 3.5 first-round quarterbacks a year. This year, we're going to come in far underneath that number. Yep. So if that tells you, like, if the number is 3.5, and any year above it is deemed good quarterback draft, and any number below it is deemed okay or bad quarterback draft, then here you have a year when you're going to have one. He is going to be the number 1 overall pick, but you're going to have one. A grand total of 55 postseason wins. So that is just a little more than 1.5 a quarterback, right? Obviously, it is not quite spread that way. Patrick Mahomes, with his 17 postseason wins out of the 55 total over those 35 drafted quarterbacks, is responsible for 31% of all first-round quarterbacks' postseason wins since 2016.
Think about
that's every playoff game that has ever involved one of these guys.
Yeah. Just think about how much that suppresses all the other AFC quarterbacks' win totals, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because
so many people have been steamrolled by Patrick Mahomes. Win.
Like that's the thing. Like that is Allen's would be higher.
It has changed the league in so many different ways, Schaefer, because now, like, you when you're drafting a guy, and this draft coming up tomorrow is a bad example because, like we said, there's only one guy. But if there's a nice crop, like, you really are thinking about in the back of your head, especially if you're an AFC team, can this guy take us to, where Mahomes is taking the Chiefs? Or can he beat the Chiefs, or whatever it might be? And maybe we're done with that now. Like, maybe we're done with maybe we've gone more into the like they're not hoarding over the league as much as they were 2 years ago, but you still got to take him down, and he's still the guy until he really gets beat.
I was going to ask you, just sort of off of this and with the Mahomes factor of it, do you think they make the playoffs next year? Because he's allegedly going to be on track to play games right at the beginning of the season. That's what he claims.
Yeah.
I don't really believe it. They're in a division that's brutal. I mean, you have the Broncos, who I think are going to be really good again, and you have the Chargers, who should be good again. And then, the Chiefs have to kind of overhaul some things. It wasn't just that they didn't have Mahomes for the last couple games. Their offense looked broken.
They got Kenneth Walker.
They did get Kenneth Walker.
They're gonna try and figure out their offensive line in the draft.
Either that, or they're gonna go get the best pass rusher they can. Those are the two things that they're either gonna take the best offensive lineman available or the best pass rusher available.
My gut says yes.
It's hard to bet against it, and yet they looked so human and average and borderline bad last year that it's hard to believe that just like Kenneth Walker and a couple fixes along the line.
I think you could almost use their failures last year as like it was so bad that it was almost a regression to the mean. I mean, there was the whole story about, them losing 1-score games last year, which they lost a lot of 1-score games.
And then you had the 2 years previous where they won all of them.
They won all of them, right?
Yeah.
And so now you can maybe just be a normal team.
Doubt it.
Possibly.
Nothing about that organization feels like it'll be normal ever again.
I believe in the stability of what they have going on, even though it still feels like, maybe we didn't turn a page quite so much last year because, Kelsey's still around and Andy Reid is still around.
Yep.
Last year, maybe it felt like a little bit of a page turn, but we're not quite there yet. We're still at the end of the first big burst, I think, of the Chiefs run, but I think they'll put it back together.
I think they can be a wild card team. I don't think they're going to win that division.
Yeah. Maybe
that division's tough.
It is.
Division's tough.
Yeah. So if you were asking me right now, I would say yes, but not confident in it at all. I'm sure Jake is thinking absolutely.
I think we should, but I agree with you. It's going to be a tough division, and trying to come back and try to fix a couple pieces. I can see us being a wild card team, but yeah, winning that division is going to be tough.
You need one of those receivers to finally sort of break out.
I will also say it as bad as it worked out for the Chiefs last year with everything that happened and how many games like that they lost and Mahomes getting hurt and all that stuff, it also worked out tremendously well for Denver. So maybe you just see a little bit of a coming back to the middle on both of those guys.
You definitely could.
You got bottom tier results from what it could have been for the Chiefs last year and top tier for Denver.
Yeah. I just think Denver's roster is really, really strong, and I'd probably trust that between Sean Payton and Bo Nix, they can sort of figure it out offensively enough to be better than they were last year. But I also thought they would be a Super Bowl team last year. So.
Will Fernando Mendoza be a starter in the NFL in 5 years?
Yes. I think he's going to be okay. So,
because that's basically the line of demarcation with these guys. You're going to get some chances. You're going to get opportunities, but it becomes pretty clear after about 4 or 5 years what you're going to be in your career. With a few exceptions, I suppose, on that list.
Yeah, I think. Trying to think if there's any comparable sort of situation, and it's really hard. You just can't predict the future. I think he's going to be a fine NFL quarterback. I don't know that he's going to rise to the level that he's going to be a.
What if he's Tua?
I think he's better than Tua. I think he'll be better than Tua. Yeah,
sticks around longer than Tua.
Yes, and Tua's tough because you have the concussions and he has to play a certain way because he can't really handle being hit anymore, which really puts stress on your offense. I was going to say, I think he could be Trevor Lawrence.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I do.
Trevor Lawrence is near the top of this list out of all these guys.
I mean, is he?
He's probably
he's had one great season, and it was last year.
He's probably like top 5 or 10.
Well, yeah, he's top 10. I'd go top 10, but I mean, I'm putting him behind a number of these guys, and I think so are you.
Oh, I mean, Mahomes and Allen and all, but I mean,
Sure.
I think it gets. We start to have a conversation at right around 5. I would think.
Okay. So would you say Trevor Lawrence or Justin Herbert?
Justin Herbert.
Okay.
For now,
you would take Trevor Lawrence over Jordan Love, I assume.
Yeah, I think so. It's close though. That's a good guy to have in that realm.
I think if you're taking him over Jordan Love, you're probably taking him over Mayfield.
Well, I mean, I love Baker, but
yeah,
he's been
ignoring just the
he's
vibes.
been multiple different things.
Baker
in his
was
career.
bad.
Yeah.
Baker
Right.
was amazing last year for about
Right.
8 weeks,
Right,
and then bad for several weeks.
and he was bad for the first like several years of his career, and then really really good. So we got to take a break. We can finish up this conversation when we come back on the other side. But there's your NFL quarterback draft talk, even though it wasn't even from this year's draft. This is how we cover the draft, folks. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. ESPN Jeopardy is returning, coming soon to Disney Plus and Hulu with your host, Joe Buck. So, yesterday, I only say this as an opportunity to give you a nice little sampling of a Darren Rovell tweet. Are you ready?
Yes.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Oh, good. So he writes, given that ESPN is struggling with a young audience, this is a very strange decision. There are so many better hosts that appeal to younger fans. And here are the examples that Darren Rovell gives as better hosts that appeal to younger fans. FaZe Rug.
Never heard of.
Robbie Berger.
Never heard of.
Dude Perfect Guys.
Have heard of.
I Show Speed.
Have heard of.
He says all better choices in this environment than Joe Buck, who turns the ancient 57 years old this week. Do you really think that he thinks that?
I think there's a certain level of people that invest way too much of their brain space worried about what young people are watching and not watching.
100%.
Even though we have learned many times that the target market is not necessarily young people. It's what, 24 to...
It's people who watch television, who aren't out doing stuff all the time.
So start
like
with
me.
that. You know,
it should be for me.
Yeah, we are very much in the target range of this show.
And I don't know who FaZe Rug is.
I don't know.
It sounds like a rug. Jake, please help us.
FaZe Rug is like an old COD YouTuber that now kind of dwells into some sports stuff.
Oh, really?
But he's a popular guy.
All right.
But yeah, he was a
YouTube.
he is a
Call
bigger
of Duty.
Yeah, Call of Duty.
All right.
I didn't think it was about the fish.
He's 29. He might be ancient. He might be too old.
Is that too old for the young?
I think he has like 10 million subscribers on YouTube. He's mainly popular, but I don't really watch him at all.
Please help me out with who is Robbie Berger.
I don't know Robbie Berger. I don't know who that is.
Oh, that's this guy. Oh, I've seen this guy before. He like he I don't even know how to describe these people. He plays golf and he's kind of funny.
Okay.
And
so he's a golf influencer?
He's kind of a golf influencer and he talks with like a East Coast accent.
Okay.
He does Bob Does Sports.
Okay.
Have you seen this guy?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen this guy right here?
He looks like a generic white guy.
Okay. He does. That's why I'm having a difficult time explaining him. The Dude Perfect Guys is not even, it's multiple people.
Right. So how do they host?
And then I have heard of I Show Speed, but mostly because of situations like this, where people tell me that I need to know about I Show Speed.
He's friends with Logan Paul or
he
the
shows
Paul
up
brothers
on stuff.
He's
21.
Yeah.
Now, what Darren Rovell is claiming is that these people would all be better hosts at a Jeopardy game, which if you've ever watched Jeopardy, it kind of seems hard to host Jeopardy.
You have to be able to pronounce words. You have to kind of keep it on track. I'm actually a little surprised that ESPN didn't reach a deal with Aaron Rodgers to be the host, given that he filled in for Trebek at that time, and then before they made Ken Jennings a permanent.
Yeah, he doesn't. I'm sure he's still mulling over his decision whether to play or not. I'm sure
he's probably on a vision quest, so they couldn't get a hold.
He probably is.
I am interested in Sports Jeopardy, though.
Yeah, me too. Well, Matt claimed yesterday that he would win or something like that. I'm positive that he wouldn't.
He would not.
Matt is too young to be able to win.
Not that he's too young. I just don't think that he would have the knowledge base on it in terms of
because of his youth.
Well, you could say youth, but I just don't think it's because my assumption is Matt really likes the stuff that Matt really likes.
He does. If you gave him a bunch of Chicago questions, he would do fine at that, I think.
If you asked him who won the gold medal in this event in the 1996 Olympics, he probably wouldn't know because he wouldn't care about the Olympics.
Guess there's only one way to find out. Maybe
we should create a Sports Jeopardy show.
I Show Speed. We are back after this on 1620 The Zone. Bada Bing writes in on YouTube, bring back Stump the Schwab. I believe we lost the Schwab a couple years ago.
We did lose the Schwab. I love that show. I watched it a lot in college.
Stump the Schwab was great. Although there was a bunch of ESPN was trying to do, game show basically programming for a little while, which was a great time. It ended up in some real true gems, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they went from game show programming to just talking head shows for every.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously they steered into the complete wrong direction.
Yeah.
Not that they had to keep doing game show programming. It probably would have eventually devolved into like reality show programming, which
they tried that too.
Yeah, there was a bunch of different offshoots that they had the opportunity to go down whichever road during that time, and they chose the one that has completely changed the sports landscape by putting Stephen A. Smith on television 24/7 and talking about nonsense. So
right.
Congratulations to them.
I'm not even opposed to like all talking head shows. Clearly, we're a talking head show, but it's the ones that are designed only to elicit just farming engagement and reaction with no real. Like, I never believe some of the things that these guys say is their actual opinion. It just feels like it's just literally crafted for television.
I know. It's the same thing with the YouTubers. Everyone wants to act like the YouTubers are all high and mighty. I've heard this many, many times, and Jake was telling us during the break. There's people who go on there and they'll be very popular streamers or whatever, and they'll be playing games and they'll say things purposefully incorrectly and then they'll clip that out. And then people will watch it just so they will comment in like, hey, it's pronounced, whatever way. It's pronounced Otani or something like that. And then they will get views off of that.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No.
It's not good. Should we try it?
I mean, I can say things incorrectly all day long.
Yeah.
It's not an attempt to...
But what if you were doing so blatantly wrong? Like blatantly, embarrassingly, certainly incorrect.
I mean, I could try.
I don't
know that it's going to work for
People
us.
get mad at me sometimes when I say, but this is a bit. It's different. People say this. People get mad at me when I say Bradley Coopers.
Bradley Coopers.
Yeah, I call him Bradley Coopers.
Why do you call him Bradley?
I don't know. It's a bit. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it comes from. But we're like, why is he saying Bradley Coopers? It's the same thing. That's what the YouTubers are doing. Do
you have anyone in your life that like mispronounces a word enough where you just can't even correct it anymore, and you just understand like this is just how they're going to pronounce it?
Almost everyone. I'm a bit of a stickler for pronunciations.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. I have someone that mispronounces one particular word, and now their offspring is doing this.
Oh no!
And it's like alarming to me, and I don't know that there's anything that I can do.
That is not good.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything you can do either. Once they're starting to multiply,
yeah. I want to say the word because it would give away the person, and they may be listening, and they'd be annoyed.
But they know that they're doing this.
I don't think they know.
Oh, really?
Well,
you haven't
like
told
I've
them?
attempted to correct, but it hasn't like stuck.
You haven't been like, you haven't pulled them aside and said, listen, you pronounce Norfolk wrong.
It should be Norfolk.
Yeah.
No, I haven't done this.
Okay.
I've been like, oh yeah,
Maybe
you mean I was like, oh, you mean this? Oh, you mean this?
Maybe you shoulder some of the responsibility here.
Probably to a degree.
You gotta, if you be the change you
when
want.
I tell you the word off air, you're gonna just stare at me for a long time.
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna have to intervene. Would you like it if I intervened?
That could be a service. Connor tells you you're wrong.
I could record something for you and put it. I'll send him a video, and then they get it as a text on their phone.
The cameo you never wanted.
Yeah.
Here are the things that you were doing wrong.
Yeah, Connor's mini interventions.
I like it. This could be a real thing.
It could be. It'd be a little difficult. So John writes in, he says, there's no one on ESPN that could put a show that could get me to watch. If it isn't live sports, I'm out. It has nothing to do with the morons that are on the shows. It's the programming. All the shows suck. Yeah, most of the shows are pretty bad. And they just continue to be on air.
In line with that. I don't watch a lot of things that aren't live sports in terms of sports television anymore. Now that I think about it, I don't watch pregame shows really at all. I don't have time to. It's usually what it comes down to. Like, I'm lucky if I can get there for the start of a game, let alone have the time to watch any of the preamble to it. So it's I kind of see where that's coming from, though. It's not even like a programming thing. I think it's just a sheer time thing.
I watched the post game for the Royals last night, and then I saw Rex Hudler, and I said, "Why isn't he doing the broadcasts?" And
so he's still there.
Yeah, no, what
are they doing?
They have this giant mix of people that they're throwing on these broadcasts, and it's a little confusing. Like, I know it's probably hard on those people because they do so many games in such a short period of time.
Sure,
and,
yeah.
And all those, and they're away from their families, and so they need breaks and stuff. But
it's weird to still be there if you're not the one on the call.
And he's not there sometimes as well.
Right, that makes sense.
So he gets a little bit more freedom to do stuff. So they've decided to have like a rotating cast of 7 different people and mix them in different places, and it's a bit jarring.
I would imagine
it's a bit jarring.
Especially your baseball team, because there's so many games, you get so used to the same
baseball
voices.
People by nature are consistent creatures, right? Yeah. We like to show up and we like to expect certain things, and we know what we're getting. And
when I don't get Tom Hamilton, I don't want to listen.
Yeah, when I don't get Ryan and Hud, then it's something sounds different. Even in the days where they would be Ryan and he would trade off with Steve Physiak. Like, Physiak would get like probably 25 games a year. I'd be like, it's a Physiak game. He was good, but it was a Physiak.
And I know that exact feeling of just like a different team, and it's so annoying.
Yep. All right. Welcome back, everybody, by the way. 7:00 hour of Happer and Schaefer. We have plenty to come today, but Matt Rule talked yesterday in a public forum. And my read on it was that nobody really yelled at him to stop saying things, which was great. I thought it was a great step for Matt Rule. He did say some things, and we can have opinions on that. But I didn't think there was anything to like. As far as I understood it, so I saw Damon's tweet yesterday morning, and it was like impromptu interview and Matt Rule's, and then he was on there for like an hour. So maybe Rule's
impromptu, like he just texted him like, "Hey, I've got an hour I want to kill."
Yeah, maybe.
That's pretty cool.
It's possible. And so they talked, and it was a great conversation for a while. And I'm certainly not, as a person who's listening to it, I'm not like going over it with a fine comb and being like, oh, what did he say? Yeah. Like, this is all part, I think, of the maturation process of going from being hot, white, intense anger at the end of the season to, oh, we're sort of turning the page or moving on to next year. I think part of that process is not getting incredibly angry at everything the coach says.
Yeah.
And I think I'm there. That's where I'm at right now. Okay. I don't know how everybody else is taking it.
Yeah. The only real reaction I saw on this that would you be considered like negative, or I don't even know that it bordered into anger. It was just sort of like almost eye roll inducing, is he was talking NIL and sort of explained it that Nebraska got more, but instead of just saying like everybody else would have gotten more too, he phrased it as if other teams realized Nebraska was getting more, so then they were going to have to offer more and get like, it was a very awkwardly phrased thing. And I just saw people complaining that they think that he doesn't understand or know how to utilize NIL, which I don't think is accurate, but that's the largest sort of reaction out of any of it that I saw yesterday.
Like he explained in that, I think I know which one you're talking about. Like, he explained in that, which I always thought was absolutely the case. And I knew it even when he said, like, even when there was the stretch, right, where he came and was like, hey, we need the resources to compete. And then what? It was after the season this past year, where he was like, yeah, I think we got what we need. You know? And then now you fast forward to today, and we've gone through the portal, and he's experienced all those different things. I even thought at the time when he was saying we got what we need, that it was going to be difficult to compete in the space that you're trying to compete in if you're trying to spend the most money and whatever, because it just moves so rapidly. Like Nebraska, what you really need instead of having a number in your head is like, what does being rich get you? It gets you flexibility, right? And what Nebraska has is a little bit of flexibility to do what it wants with its roster and all the things that all the money that it takes to operate a program on a day-to-day basis, but not a lot of it, like they still have to be pretty conscious about what they're spending their money on and who they're spending their money on. And so if you want to label that as they're not the richest, great. They're not.
They're never going to.
And they're not going to be. And but I believe, much like people who live in that class of society, they can live a very, very comfortable life and have a lake house and a boat and all those different things. But at the same time, still have to worry a little bit that if they're spending too much on, ice cream a month, you know what I mean? Like that still exists.
How much is too much ice cream a month? Let's look at the budgets. No, I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding. I think we saw it in basketball as well, that you have to spend as much, and in some cases more money, to retain guys you already have. And then there's a premium of what has to be paid to get the high-end players that you want out of the portal. And when he said that they had enough, a lot of that had to do with they were going to be able to retain who they wanted off their roster. Like they could keep the players they wanted off their roster. It wasn't necessarily like we've got enough to go money whip whatever we want and build, this team. And so I just think like people hear these numbers and they think, okay, we have X amount of money to just throw at anybody that's in the portal without thinking that a large chunk of that is already gone to retain what you already have in your roster. I mean, that's part of it with Nebraska basketball. They had to spend a fair amount of money to keep Price, Sanford, and Frager, and that's exactly what they had to do.
And like another thing he was asked, like, and he tried to explain is, listen, I get asked these questions. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. I get asked these questions at specific times. And I can tell you what I know and how I feel on that given day.
And that is a huge
and it changes instantaneously after they hang up the phone. I know, because then they say, oh my God, he's lying to me. I thought we were good at NIL, but it turns out we lost a player. What happens? Like, yeah, man, it changes very fast.
To use my own real world example of it, I would go on a half dozen radio shows a week and be asked about various recruits. And on a Monday, Nebraska might have been in the pole position for player X. And then by Tuesday night, it has switched because they're 16, 17, 18 years old and they change their opinion. And then someone would tweet at me following a radio.
Nice prediction, idiot.
Yeah, basically like, you're just getting people excited only for them to be let down. You're a clown. And it's like, this is how it works.
Yeah. I said like in December, because Creighton had won like 4 games in a row or something like that Creighton was like halfway a bubble team.
Oh, I did yell at you about that.
Remember this? And then like 3 weeks later, they had lost every game since. And I was like, they're not a bubble team anymore, guys. And people are like, every time they lost, I would get a tweet from somebody who would be like, nice job for a bubble team. And I'll be like, dude, they're not on the bubble. It's okay. This is another example of me not being able to live in peace. It's because of you.
It's my fault. It is my fault. I immediately said that they were not a bubble team as you said it, but I didn't have to come back and tweet at you while they were losing in that stretch.
Yeah, many did.
My opinion was already known.
Many felt the responsibility to do that.
Yeah. A weirder example of this is if you tweet during a game, and then there's the people who just refuse to acknowledge there's a timestamp on the tweet.
Yeah.
And it's like, so-and-so's having a good game. And then it's like they fumble 2 quarters later.
This is literally a diary. It is a live log of all my thoughts at this exact moment. And yeah,
that one triggers me. I get pissed.
Yeah. And that's kind of what he was
absolutely incensed.
That's part of what he was trying to explain yesterday. Yeah. And I think it's a very valid point.
Yeah. I can accept and understand that quite a
bit. I really do get it as it pertains to that in NIL. And I've always said, like, Well, I think we should stay away from putting labels on. Like the other thing that doesn't help here is that whichever company will want to put together a list of who the biggest spenders are in NIL, and then that list will just sit there, and people will click on it for an extended period of time, and it's so fluid. Like it just moves so much, and you generally
not based on
you also
accountable information.
Correct. You stay in the general same ballpark as
Right.
the people who you're spending with and you're competing with for players against. But like you said, we're basing this off of information from a variety of different sources, a variety of different places here, and it's not always completely accurate as well.
And even if you're going directly to when it was Zen Collectives, they were always going to prop up what they were doing relative to the reality of it.
If I was an NIL war chest, I would want to say that I had a lot of money inside of the chest. Yes.
And then you get the opposite of this, where you have coaches that'll talk about, like, I saw this in football a lot. A coach or a team of someone also recruiting the player would drive up the idea of how much someone else was getting to try to soften the blow for the fact that they weren't going to get the player.
So that does not help with the literacy of this entire thing. And I think maybe this is more of an overarching, conversation, Schaefer, about how we view things. People have an obsession with winning everything, right? Not just the football games, but the specific battles that it takes to win those football games.
Yeah.
So they want to be the biggest spender. They want to have the biggest stadium. They want to have the best coach. They want to win those battles and view those battles as wins, especially during this time in the absence of real life football games.
Sure.
And that is like, it's just not a real healthy way to go about the course of an off season.
An addiction to winning.
Yeah. I mean, like, that sounds like a good thing, but you don't have to have the best everything.
Right.
And so, like, how I would put it is,
chances are you won't,
especially in the NIL world. I mean, Nebraska is just not, and I'm sorry if that's breaking news to people. And if you're hearing that for the first time, they're not going to have the best NIL, and they're not going to be I know they want to create and be innovative and find edges and all those different things. And I think they're really doing a nice job on doing that. They have a lot of the infrastructure that is necessary to be able to, gain advantages in other places that aren't NIL. But if you want to win NIL, like, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a difficult ask. And that's where I see, I mean, this coincides with the stadium topic from last week. People are asking, well, why don't you just spend the NIL on, or why don't you spend the money on the NIL? Like,
because you can't use loans to get players.
Right.
So maybe start there.
And because people want to win everything. They want to be the best at everything. And I get that. I understand that obsession to a certain extent. But if you take it as a win and a loss every time you don't win on NIL, you're going to have a lot of losses, and you're going to feel really, really bad about the direction in which things are headed. You'll be able to tell. You can tell in a very nebulous, over an off-season period of time. You can tell which ballpark you're in. You can tell which neighborhood you're in. You look around, you might think you have a nice house, but then you look around at your neighbors and you're like, actually, my house isn't very nice anymore, or whatever it might be, or their lawns aren't very nice. You can tell what neighborhood that you're in. And so as long as you're competing in that neighborhood, then that's really all you can ask.
And this, people might throw Indiana at me on this, but I still don't think we've had a national championship team where it's like, oh, they just went out and bought this thing.
Indiana most certainly did not do that.
And so, the closest might be Michigan basketball, with what that lineup sort of came together.
But he got it off of, there was a lot of connections that he had on that roster.
So,
right?
That has to matter in this whole thing too. I think that the NIL is always going to be perceived as this, like, sort of the version of a get rich quick scheme. Like, you can just fix everything with NIL.
Yep.
And I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah.
I think you have to have a strong foundation and you can enhance with NIL, but I don't think you can just win with straight NIL.
Agreed.
I just don't think anyone's going to prove that wrong. Colorado attempted to, and they're a disaster now. A literal disaster. They're everything that I thought they would be in year 1 and in year 3, and they got the 1 9-win season in year 2. And that came by having, Travis Hunter and the coach's son as their quarterback and filling it in with some nice players. But otherwise, I mean, they'll have accomplished nothing for everything that they were talked about.
That's another thing that Rule talked about yesterday on Ravi and Damon's show. And I would encourage people to listen to it, by the way, because I thought it was pretty good. And there's some fallacies with this, but it is as we've talked about, there is a base underneath them, I think, at Nebraska. And maybe it's coming along a little bit slower, and maybe the progression isn't as linear as people like it to be. But like you said, Schaefer, I'd rather be in this position a heck of a lot more than the one that, Colorado's in at the moment. So let's take a time out. If you guys have any thoughts on that, 402-951-1620. You can give us a call, send us a text there. Also send us a tweet on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed at Happer and Schaefer. Got plenty to cover here on this Wednesday. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone. Enter 1620 The Zone's Derby draw for your chance to win $200 without and really doing anything except for signing up. Be one of the lucky 20 finalists, and you'll be randomly assigned a racehorse during the Derby. If your horse wins, you get $200. It's that simple. Register now on the website, 1620thezone.com. Of course, the Derby first Saturday in May, which means it's next, not this coming, but next Saturday, the 2nd. All right, let's go to the phones here. Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline. Here's Brian. Good morning, Brian. What's up?
Oh, good morning. How are you doing?
Great.
Good. Just calling in about you were talking about the Rule interview, and I kind of got bits and pieces of it. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I kind of know what was talked about. But the thing that bothers me about him, besides his record, is he has such a large. I don't know. It seems like he spends a lot of money on support staff, more than he needs. I mean, it should be. We should have a better. He should have a better record for everybody he's got helping him, or at least that's what I think. Seems like he has everybody. He's got a lot of people helping him, paying pretty good sums of money, from what I gather.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, didn't he complain about the NIL again yesterday?
No, not really. No, he did not complain about it. He just said, "Hey, look, man, the price went up, and it's going to continue to go up."
So he's making excuses again. Okay, so he didn't go out and do anything on the defensive line. He didn't go out and address the running back. That's what bothers me. But people are just believing that we're going to be fine there, and no, we're not. So, I don't know. We'll be lucky to win 6 games, probably 6 games. Will be about what we can do.
All right, Brian, we'll put you on the board for lucky to win 6. Appreciate the call. Yeah, he has a big staff. That is for sure. But it's funny because he has a big staff, and there's a lot of people who work for him that work inside of the building and that work for the football program. And so that's one thing. And then people get all queasy about that stuff. They're like, well, why do they have all these people, but they're not winning any football games? And then at the same time, people will say, wait, are they spending any money? What's going on? Where's all the money? And it's like, yeah, that's what they're doing. They're spending all the money. They're spending money on the coaching staff and on the people inside of the building. That's called investing in the people that you have there once you get the people on campus, which is also a very difficult thing to do. So I don't know. You can't win either way if you're not winning. There's no doubt about that. They need to win more football games.
That's
but it's not because they have too many people working there.
Yeah, I have a question as to whether it's necessary that he has a position coach for every position. But the thing is, they would have had that anyways with your GAs and your quality controls.
Yeah,
and so
I don't get worried about that with Rule in particular because I know that he's there's no question that he's the guy that everything goes through. Right.
Well, that's how his
if I had a
leadership
question
style
about that,
is,
and there was 400 people in there, and I didn't know who was running what, then we'd have a problem. But I that is not a thing with Rule.
No, I agree with that, and it's these are the resources that he's choosing to invest and use. The thing is, you just want to see more of a return on it, but that would be true whether he had,
correct
17 coaches or 10 coaches. So what we're talking about here is what we're always talking about. People want to see Nebraska start to win football games.
That's interesting.
And stop hearing about how close they are and stop hearing about what people inherited or, I don't think people really want to hear about their culture a whole lot anymore.
No.
Because frankly, 3 years of hearing about building of culture, and it's time to see that in action. It's time to tangibly be able to point out, hey, they showed up on the road and played this team hard and then won the football game because they had the belief to be able to do it, and they played whatever. However you want to explain it afterwards, you want it to be in the sense of they won the game, not, well, their culture allowed them to stay around for another close loss. the 17th that they've had under Matt Rule. I think a lot of it is that. I just think some of the fatigue is it's time for people to see results, and those results need to either be wins or, they're going to tune out even more.
I think wins, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's no other way around it.
No,
I go through it.
And again, it's not that they have to go 9-3 or 10-2 or whatever it is. If they can go 8-4,
give people something to believe in,
and you get one of those big teams, or you beat Iowa, or you take care of Iowa and Washington, or whatever it is, just give people a reason to think that this is upwardly mobile and that you haven't just hit your head on the ceiling as a 6 or 7 win team.
Yeah, there was reasons in 23 and probably in 24 as well, but not really from last year.
No, last year felt like it was just a sidestep and not a step forward.
So we'll see. Are they able to get it back on track? Last night, Nebraska baseball went on the road to Kansas for Blood Feud round 2 and came up a little short against the Jayhawks. 31-10 now, still 15-3 in the league. But people were looking at that game. I mean, first of all, it's a great midweek opportunity for both of those teams. Top 25 teams, both kind of in the hunt to be able to host a regional. And, playing each other for the second time in the span of 3 weeks here on Tuesday night. And, Nebraska goes down there and they did some uncharacteristic things last night in order to fall short to KU. 9-7, by the way, was the final score. Tucker Timmerman, I thought was pretty good to start things off for Nebraska. Ty Horn came in a little bit later. He got beat up a little bit. Clark got beat up a little bit. And then, like I said earlier, it's kind of scary that Unger, got hit around at least a little bit in that game. KU got out to a 9-4 lead after the 7th. Nebraska tacked on 3 more and didn't die in the 8th, but Bodie Ray shut the door from there for the guy who was formerly their Friday night starter and is now turned into a very dangerous back end of the bullpen weapon for KU. Shut it down, his 6th save of the year late. 9-7. What'd you think?
Yeah, a lot of it for me is that, you just saw some uncharacteristic stuff. Mac Moyer had a little bit of a rougher game than what you've come to expect from him.
Yeah, he misplayed that one in center.
And that really hurt him.
Yeah, it was, that was just the turf, I think. Obviously, you got to be able to, figure that out. But it was a shallow fly ball that had some backspin and it kind of checked up on him and went over his head.
Yeah, that turned it into, I think that basically made it the 9, the last 2 runs there. And then he had, the single to bring in to get it to 9-7. And then he rounds first. And I don't know what exactly, if he was trying to bait something, but he ends up running them into the last out of the 8th inning where you're putting pressure on Kansas at that point. And again, that's just 2 plays from him that really you wouldn't expect to see or haven't seen all year. And so that it just kind of felt like they were a little off yesterday for whatever reason. It wasn't as crisp. You got hit around a lot. I mean, they had 12 hits, or Kansas had 12 hits off of them. They only struck out 5. They didn't walk anybody or didn't walk a whole lot of people, which is good for Nebraska. They only put 2 on. But it felt like Kansas was getting a lot of A swings off of them.
Yeah.
And that's a good team. But this isn't like some sort of podunk Big 12 middle of the pack team. Like, that's a top 20 team in the country, and they swing it well. And so, Nebraska just
very much so
didn't meet them, didn't play as crisp as they could. And Kansas deserved to win that game. I think they deserve to win the game in Lincoln too. So, which is to say, I think these are relatively comparable teams. Kansas has just got them both times by playing better baseball both times. I don't know that there's a whole lot more mystery beyond that. I would love to see a weekend series with these teams, which you wouldn't get this year. But I think that's something to at least consider.
How many weekend series are we trying to conjure up now? I mean, we've
a fair amount.
Yeah, we've been talking about the Creighton one for a long time.
Well, you've got, I think it would behoove both of those teams. Now, I think they like playing the midweek because it keeps your schedule flexible and everything else.
Definitely. I mean,
you get the one game at home for each and all of that.
Yeah, people don't understand. there's just not that many options to go and play midweek games around here. It's just,
well, especially in the Big Ten where you have so many conference games that you're getting in as well. Like you start the conference schedule in the middle of March, and in the first month of the season, you're largely playing away from home because you kind of need to guarantee you're getting those games in.
Right.
So when your opportunity to play at Kansas is probably when you have a series against a Maine that you're sort of throwing on there to pad the win total a little bit and everything else.
Yeah. And you'd rather play them early, which in theory lessens the chance that the game gets wiped out because it's too cold or it gets played under very, very questionable conditions or something like that. But no, I was going to say, like, it doesn't, there's limited opportunities for midweek games. And so you have to be able to kind of get them in and find halfway decent teams to play. There's a lot of Summit League teams out there who will come down to Nebraska or to Creighton or to Kansas or whatever and play these Tuesday and Wednesday night games, but doesn't do anything in terms of your schedule if you're trying to be competitive in the RPI world. And so, yeah, it's good. It's good to play the KUs of the world because it doesn't hurt you if you lose. And I think that's sort of the main story. Speaking of not hurting you if you lose, you remember that story that we talked about 2 days ago where we are getting into RPI gaming season?
Sure.
Michigan canceled a game with...
Did they lose to Miami of Ohio?
They canceled a game with somebody to wipe them off their schedule and then go play Miami of Ohio, who was a top 100 RPI team. Indeed, they did, Schaefer. They lost that game yesterday. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to laugh.
I appreciate our friends, Miami of Ohio, stepping up for the city of Oxford, stepping up for small baseball teams everywhere.
But really, when you think about it, it worked. I mean,
if you're going to lose, you'd rather lose that.
Exactly.
So it's not like Miami's probably that discontent with it. Obviously, you want to win the games.
But Miami's very happy about it. They beat Michigan.
Or not Miami, excuse me, Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan, it's probably okay. Because if they would have lost to whatever team they were supposed to play.
I can't remember what team it was.
Ball State or...
No, was it another MAC team?
I'm not sure.
I just remember...
It's one of the Michigan teams.
Thinking it was dumb that you could just drop a team in the middle of the season.
You can, and people have.
Well, and people will continue.
Was it last year that Iowa was doing some significant gaming of the RPI?
Oh, they didn't play Grinnell College for 6?
Yeah, it was like Grinnell. I think they were supposed to play like Illinois Chicago, who was really bad.
Yeah. And
they were like, no, we'll go play a Summit League team or something like that instead. Or whatever it might have been. And
Iowa's baseball scheduling is...
Iowa's got it probably the roughest amongst basically anybody.
Yeah.
There is no decent teams within like a multiple hour drive.
Oh, to come play?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Cause
there's nobody in Minnesota.
If you try to get
obviously.
Omaha, that's a 4.5. You know, I don't know what is there like the Illinois State or those type of teams?
Illinois State, like Illinois, Chicago, like all those schools, it's tough. But the other thing with Iowa is for scheduling non-con games, like, you know, you want a little bit of a kickback and you want your players to have a good time as well. Like Iowa doesn't have good baseball facilities.
No.
Like who wants to, like, is Omaha going to go play them to take a 4-hour bus trip to go play in basically a city park? Like, no, you would better make some money off of that.
That's a good point. I hadn't really.
Like Omaha just stay at home and they could get teams that are passing through as they do every year who are going to play Creighton or Nebraska. Sounds like a better plan to me.
And I don't feel like Iowa has invested much in baseball in really any way, shape, or form. So they're not going to want to play a bunch of bye games either.
They have not. John writes in, good memory. Nebraska used to play Northern Colorado 17 times a year. Wrong, John. They used to play Northern Colorado every year, like 17 years in a row. Shout out to Mike Anderson.
Shout out.
And Michael Bruns misses the yearly rivalry.
He does.
With Northern Colorado.
He's got some Northern Colorado gear. I think that's why.
He does. That's where he went to school, right?
Bruns?
Yeah.
No, he went to Nebraska.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's just got family that lives out there.
Wow, I was so tied in with Bruns in Northern Colorado that I thought I had just placed him there.
No,
I had made him a bear.
He had family in the area.
Okay. Right.
No, he's a graduate of Nebraska and a member of the Daily Nebraskan.
Oh yeah. He's part of that crew. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Jake, he's got the headlines. We'll round at the 7 o'clock hour with that after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Time for headlines. Young Jake.
Yes, sir.
Has the headlines this week. I can't wait to hear them. What do we have?
So we got 1 million bees make for bumper to buzzer traffic on a Tennessee highway ramp.
Bumper to buzzer, a pun already in the headline. Interesting. All right. I'm definitely interested in why the bees would make such a hubbub. But let's hear headline number 2.
Roads closed when bear spends hours in a New York tree.
Okay.
I'm going to go for the bees.
I think it's the bees, though. I have questions as to what a bear in a tree would do with causing a road to close.
Maybe the tree was on the road. I guess, we're talking about roads here either way.
Yeah, so let's go with the bees.
Let's go to Knoxville, Tennessee, home of Big T. Travelers on an East Tennessee interstate were forced to brake for workers and drones, perhaps even a queen, when a truck carrying about 1 million bees crashed. On Friday, the swarm shut down an exit of Interstate 40 in Knoxville, said Mark Nagy, Tennessee Department of Transportation regional spokesperson. There were no injuries. The ramp of I-40 to Henley Street is back open, but the truck is destroyed and the bees are, well, buzzing. Nagy posted, along with a photo of a person in beekeeper garb. Unless you're dressed in this outfit, please stay in your vehicles in this area. Later Friday, he confirmed that all of the bees had been moved from the area and the truck was also removed. What could not be as easily quelled were the puns. Quote, "So this is the buzz around town," U.S. Rep. Tim Burkett wrote on social media. "This stuff just writes itself." The Virginia Department of Transportation commiserated on social media. Its Northern Division reminisced about a 2018 crash that similarly released swarms of bees on Interstate 495, prompted the advice, "Please roll up your windows." So I have multiple questions, some of which were asked in the comments below on this AP story. How do they know? How do they count the bees? Do the beekeepers count the bees?
I'm assuming they have some scientific way to guesstimate.
And then how do they know that they have moved the bees? Like, don't you miss a couple bees? Like, what if a few bees escape?
Well, it's just a few bees. You're trying to get the colony of bees as much as possible.
Also, another question. Obviously, we have the truck crash here, which is the actual part of this that is causing delays, I would imagine. But what about the bees themselves cause delays?
Yeah, I don't think bees are going to win in a fight against a car.
No, I don't think so either. I would actually love to drive my car through a bunch of bees.
A swarm of bees, and you're just like, all right.
Wouldn't that be fun? And it just all goes, it's like you're driving on I-29 back from Kansas City in the middle of the summer. It just goes.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like what that noise would sound like as they're just thumping off of your vehicle.
It'd be awesome.
You're going through a colony of bees.
I know people have opinions on the bees, and
people have very strong opinions on bees.
We should save the bees, all these things. I've been presented with many cases over the years about how the bees are very important to society. Not society,
Isn't
but
there like a whole Mark Wahlberg movie about this?
I don't know. Is there a Mark Wahlberg movie about bees?
Isn't it like The Happening or something? The M. Night Shyamalan movie?
No idea.
Like the bees go missing and Mark Wahlberg's a scientist or a science teacher.
Wow.
I could be just inventing this in my brain.
By the way, you're looking at me weird. I don't know. I genuinely don't
I didn't
know.
mean to look at you weird.
I believe you. I believe you for the record. There's also the famous movie scene in that one movie where Nick Cage was attacked by bees and he was saying, "The bees. The bees." So, unless you were in that area, take the hazmat suit off.
It's The Happening.
The Happening.
Yeah, I was right.
They should have been called "What's the Buzz?"
It's not really about bees, but there's the whole conversation about the bees have gone missing, and there's like some ecological concerns that then come out of it.
Okay.
So it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Okay. So it's like a butterfly effect thing. Like what happens if none of the bees ever existed?
Except all of like nature is starting to go, and then it's leading to like catastrophes.
Okay.
Of sorts.
Well, I hope those bees got out okay.
I think they did fine.
There was one bee.
No bees were harmed in the filming of the movie.
There was a bee yesterday that was bothering me.
Again? You got stung for the first time, and now bees are like, we're on this guy.
Well, I got stung like 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
5 or 6 years ago at this point. So it's been a while.
All right.
But yeah, actually I was at my house and then I was at my parents' house yesterday, and at both locations there were bees that were threatening.
Notice a lot more bugs in the last week. Like the bugs have come out of the plants and the ground.
They've been making noises at night.
Yep.
And stuff like that.
We're here. We're in bug season.
I like it.
It's a
sure sign.
a calming thing, but it's a sign of where we are.
Schaefer's noticed
I'm surrounded by ants in the studio
everywhere. The bugs are everywhere, folks.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of them. We need a truck. We need a truck and then fill it up full of ants that have lived in this room, and then have that truck crash.
Not many are still alive if I see them. I've killed a lot of ants.
You're doing a really nice job. All right, Jake, those are the headlines. We appreciate that.
Sir.
We will come back 8 o'clock hour. We'll be joined by Sam McKewon. Yes, Sam McKewon coming up at the bottom of the hour-ish. Halfway home on a Wednesday on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we're back. 8 o'clock hour. Just a minute before here on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and on the Zone Radio Network as well. Speaking of 1620thezone.com, you can enter our Derby draw for your chance to win $200 without... Oh, wait, no, I did that one already. Let's do the Green for the Green 5K sweepstakes powered by Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. You can improve your golf game, get better equipment, get a membership, or even repair the damages due to your miscalculated golf swing. Ha ha. The Green for the Green 5K sweepstakes through May 19th. Enter now, 1620thezone.com. So since I clicked on a Darren Rovell tweet, now I've been served more Darren Rovell tweets.
That sounds awful.
It is. Here's what he said an hour ago. He was surprised that Oregon is doing like a garage sale.
Yeah. Standard practice.
He said, given the value of game used in particular and even team issued, especially in the case of Oregon here, I'm shocked at how many schools are still doing surplus sales. In some cases, it's a state law, but Oregon is leaving millions on the table, and that's not good for any party. Darren.
Any party?
Darren.
Someone just slap him.
Seriously.
But why?
Your brain is broken.
It's not good for any party. Maybe it's good for people that don't want to pay for overpriced stuff, that want to buy something that was team issued. Wouldn't have access to it any other way.
This isn't good for little Johnny who wants to go to Oregon and buy $10 Oregon shorts?
That guy so often has tweets where
it's great for little Johnny.
Why do you think the way you do? Why are you how you are?
This is a very popular emerging mindset in our world. If you're not thinking about money, then you better get out of here. It's all about money. It's all about money. It doesn't have to always be about money. Also, I think he may be overshooting the value.
Millions
of dollars.
Those sweatpants that Matt rolls around in all the time that he got for $5.
So
they could have gotten $8.
So let's just say he does Oregon auctions this crap off instead of selling it at a garage sale, like in bulk to fans for pennies on the dollar, which, I mean, they buy it for what they probably sell it for, honestly. So from the apparel companies and obviously we know the relationship between Nike and Oregon. I mean, they get it. So they're making money off of it anyway, and it's basically trash to them. But let's just say they auctioned it off, and it said, these are Dante Moore's practice, one of Dante Moore's practice shirts from last year. What are you selling that for? It's a shirt. It's a t-shirt that has some sort of markation that it's Oregon. There's probably just a nice big O on it, and
you're
Nike
hoping
swoosh,
to get $10.
The number, whatever number it was. What are you selling that for at auction? Like you maybe bid it up to like $18 or something like that.
Like
you sell it at a garage sale, you're making what, $5 or whatever it might be. Okay, I fail to see where the millions of dollars come into play.
But beyond that, some of it is you have to get rid of these things.
Yeah.
And the quickest way to do that is to bring people to you to just buy it in mass versus trying to physically then put up all of these items for auction, which would require photos and someone to physically do the work. So you're wasting money on that end of it.
Indeed.
To make little to no profit on it to begin with.
Indeed.
So the whole concept of it is dumb. I'm just struck by it's not good for anyone.
It's good for no parties because Oregon didn't make millions off of it.
I think they'll be okay.
I think everybody's going to be fine.
I suspect they probably have as good of a Nike deal as you can have.
And it'd be great, but once again, for little Johnny. Nobody thinks about little Johnny anymore. Nobody. No. Nobody thinks about little Johnny anymore. It's very sad.
And now he gets to wear Dante Moore's sweaty used shirt.
Yeah. All Darren Rovell's thinking about is capitalism.
Yeah.
All Darren Rovell is thinking about is Oregon's ability to make millions of dollars off of Dante Moore's sweaty shirt. And all I'm thinking about is little Johnny. Little Johnny
Little
should have
Johnny.
access to stuff too. Not
Well-
everything needs to be competitive.
I heard from a number of people that they loved the garage sale that Nebraska had last year. And so they didn't do it again this year. And I'm wondering if people would hope that comes back.
You probably, stack it up for a couple more years and then you could have
Release the Kraken.
have a big blowout after that. Why
Yeah.
not? I don't think that's a bad thing. All right. So I hope that I get served no more Darren Rovell tweets. Although I can already see one being loaded in, sadly.
Oh, wow. They show you the mechanics of the tweet being put together?
Well, no, it looks like, no, that'd be funny. It's like a Darren Rovell Mad Lib tweet. No, there's a Darren Rovell tweet that's just sitting at the top there. It looks like that I haven't reached. I'm also looking at.
Are you on his page? Is that what happened here?
No. Well, I mean, I clicked on the one tweet.
And this is the For You tab?
Yes, and now it's feeding me everything that he says.
Disgusting.
Because I don't think the AI on the For You tab is all that intuitive.
I don't think Grok is.
You clicked on one thing. Now here's all of those things.
I don't think Grok is a particularly intuitive AI tool. Yeah. Sorry, Elon.
But right now I'm looking at a weather map for tomorrow.
Oh
no. Looks like either tomorrow or Friday.
It's supposed to be a really nasty storm rolling through tomorrow.
Yeah. Little bit of weather coming in.
A little bit of weather.
I hope we get to play baseball this weekend at the old ballpark.
I don't know that it's is it supposed to stick around?
It's just a tomorrow thing.
Yeah, I think it's just a tomorrow thing.
It was just
one day.
the chance of a big storm tomorrow night.
Asian Joe, by the way, writes in on YouTube. He says, "This is why websites like the Player's Trunk exist for people to buy player issued and player worn gear." Yeah, I've seen stuff like that.
They might be like a doubleheader on Saturday or something. Sunday looks like a heavy. So
that's the game I'm scheduled for is Sunday.
All right. Thursday, pretty good chance of rain as well.
Dang. All right, well, we need the rain.
Friday
right?
looks great.
All right, great. We'll be out there on Friday. Michael Severe writes in, he says Adrian Martinez garage sale had a bunch of practice shirts. Yeah, you could just wait for the Adrian Martinez garage sale to come back up again.
Yeah. People love when players or coaches. I mean, Thomas Fedoni had a garage sale and the media descended upon it.
They did. We don't need the media to be involved in any of these things.
Look, I'm just telling you what I know had happened. I don't know what was sold, but I know plenty of reporters that had stopped by to see what was happening.
By the way, so I do want to talk about Emmett Johnson for a couple minutes since we're pre-draft, but is there anything else, Schaefer, on the stadium or the offshoot topics of the stadium? I know we played around with the idea of having stadium topic of the day all week. Is there anything that we haven't delved into that you feel like we should or could or like?
I mean, there's just what don't we know yet? Like, so
a lot.
So the student section is a big part of that. I mean, a lot mechanics of how South Stadium is actually going to work.
Like when it's coming down and when it's going back up.
Well, that, but also like, how do people get to the upper reaches of the stadium? Because the renderings don't show you anyway that that's actually possible.
I can tell you that there will be escalators.
I would anticipate there will be
modes of communication to the upper deck.
Yes. But and then obviously the concourse aspect of it, I'm kind of fascinated by too. Like, how do they change that? What does that sort of look like? Do they try to keep a similar structure all the way around the stadium? So there's like a continuity to it, or is it broken up into various sections of this is old stadium, this is shiny new South Stadium, that's old new. So
you delve into I think something that hasn't been talked about really at all with this, which is like what happens to what happens to it as a football stadium. Like we have talked about it as a revenue generator. We have talked about the sort of look of it, obviously, and I think that's starts to delve into the territory. I think one of the things that's always been talked about and certainly has been mentioned a lot by Rule is the wind and how odd it is inside of the current iteration of Memorial Stadium. In theory, I mean, it's going to be really weird for the year when I don't know what's going to actually be in place in 2027 when there is no South Stadium that is available for people to sit in. Or what sort of makeshift idea that they will have in that category. But it's going to be very interesting in 2027. And then in 2028, in theory, when it's done, whenever it is done, it is it's going to play a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think in terms of the wind.
Yeah, well, you change that structure of South Stadium, it's definitely going to impact with that wind, and you might create it to where it's even more of a swirl than it is now. You don't know. Like I just don't know.
I would tend to think that it would normalize it.
I just don't know. Like it's
because what you have, I think I'm no wind.
God, can we get a wind expert on the show?
Actually, yes, that'd be a great summer thing. You get a wind study person.
Yeah,
like. I think Rule has said that they've done wind studies before. Yep. And so like whoever did that wind study, I'd like to hear it. But I imagine the reason why, or part of the reason why the wind acts the way it does is because the stadium is so it's shattered, right? Like it's in pieces.
Yep.
It's a pie that's not connected. And there was definitely a better analogy there. So somewhere, but like,
right. Because I don't think of the stadium as a circle, but now I'm thinking of a pie as more of like an oval with like,
like somebody put the
parts of it
they tried to return
out.
A piece of pie into the pie and they put it in wrong or something like that's
amazing.
That's kind of what the stadium is right now. I would imagine that's part of the reason why the wind is the way it is.
Yeah.
When you connect it, which is what they're going to do, for west, south, and east, except that I guess that north grandstand won't be like there'll be some space there, but there will still be a concourse that connects them. I think that I would imagine that sort of clears it up, but I don't know. We'd have to talk to wind study guy.
Yeah, and then the other aspect of this plan, and I think it was like this with the other one. I thought that there would be more of a consideration giving for like a standing room area or a like observation area or a pavilion, whatever you want to call it.
I think there will be some of that
to modernize it a little bit more. You can't tell that in the renderings. I don't know that was discussed. I don't think I saw it anywhere in like the press release necessarily.
No, and we'll find out more about this on Friday when the official plans have to be submitted to the regions.
I hope there's a little bit more like detail for sort of the fan experience of it.
Yeah, I just had a caller call in asking if like, have they said anything about season ticket holder stuff yet? And I'm like, I'm not entirely sure.
No,
I don't think
so. We're not there yet.
Yeah,
we're not there yet.
They're gonna wait.
They're gonna hold
one.
off on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. That'll probably be a slow sort of roll into a dangerous sort of topic. But I would imagine that there will be some opportunity to, even whether it's in New South Stadium or whatever version of what you've improved around the stadium, some opportunities to sort of move around at least a little bit more freely and have some spaces where you could stand there and have a beer or something like that. The other thing is, I want to get to this call in a second. The other thing is, like we know Matt Rule to have been a grass guy, a hashtag big grass guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very adamant about it. They changed their practice fields to grass, which they will continue to do. If we're talking about Memorial Stadium as a revenue generator instead of just a football stadium, because I think that's the way it's looked at, right? It is a venue and not just a place that has football games. I don't think we're getting grass. I don't know. I don't know the grass is coming anymore.
Do you think that could change?
I don't know if that's part of the plan.
Well, so like, are they going to have grass? Because grass is supposed to start this year, is what the original.
No, grass is definitely not starting this year.
So then, like, that was the idea originally proposed.
No, there's no way that grass starts this year because they have to start they're doing the construction. So no, I don't even think they're going to do it. Period.
What a bizarre.
Because the they're going to try and do other things there.
Yeah.
And it's like you have too much maintenance on the grass.
Now, the other things are largely just going to be concerts, right? Like they're not
concerts.
You'll have the Savannah Bananas or random things like that.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how far they could push it. I don't know what else they could do.
Because the designs of it doesn't really allow for like soccer. That was one of the things that had come up and they had declined to be involved with the World Cup stuff. In part because I don't think their venue is a great fit for it. I'm trying to think of what else you would do. Like it feels like a lot of concerts, which then is sort of a fascinating like competition between. You already sort of have a thing going on where it's CHI and Pinnacle Bank Arena, and they cannibalize each other on some of these acts and other ones.
A little bit.
You throw in the stadium, which is a very different type of thing that you
stadium tours are big now.
Yeah, and so it makes me wonder if they're trying to capitalize on that, but have they missed the window of it? Because by the time you'd be available to do more of this, you're looking at,
You think Morgan Wallen's going to retire?
I don't know if he's going to retire, but I don't know that like Morgan Wallen's star will hold up so much that stadium tours will be a thing for Morgan Wallen. He's what, like 2 controversies away from being canceled?
No, he can't get canceled. They've already tried.
He gives them ammo. There's no question on that.
I know. But we always get to the trends 2 years late anyway.
Sure,
so.
but right. I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't shock me if the stadium trend passes Nebraska by the time that they're available to be a part of it.
Maybe.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
They can always just run Garth Brooks out there, though.
Hey, that sells every time, and I have no problem with that.
Yeah, look,
that's a hell of a concert.
You could make that a yearly thing, and it would do amazing.
That's a hell of a concert.
Yeah, no, that's what he's for.
Let's take a phone call here on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Here's Doug. Good morning, Doug. What's up?
Hey, guys. Good morning. Well, first, it's a top 10 morning. I'm just sitting on the patio.
Love
listening
it.
to you guys, and some coffee. It's great. Hey, there is some spring football left to play. I don't know if you guys are aware, but our former quarterback has his spring game on Saturday at 3 p.m. That would be Dominic Raiola, the Oregon Ducks.
Dylan
Raiola. Network.
Dylan Raiola.
Yeah, Dylan. Dang, Dominic. I know a Dominic. Anyway, Dylan Raiola, 3 p.m. Are you guys going to watch?
Will you watch Oregon's spring game, Mike Schaefer?
No.
I don't think so either.
I'm sure something will happen and Twitter will be all over.
Yeah, I'll probably get a clip, Doug. I'll probably see some of it.
Well, it'll be like classic, you can't touch the quarterback. So, of course, he's not going to scramble. He's just going to stand there and probably throw darts everywhere. But, because, again, they can't hit him. So, but I think the Husker Nation will probably, they'll light up Twitter somehow about Dylan and his performance.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate the call. There will be some commentary, I'm sure.
Has he been like healthy enough to go through spring football and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen some clips.
I haven't really paid attention to it.
I saw some conversation about him last week because he spoke to the media, I think. And
it would be hilarious if he just like lights up the second team defense or something.
Well, he threw a touchdown in practice to his little bro.
Oh, wow.
And I just thought that's something that we probably would have had an aneurysm about. And
well, especially because Dayton was a quarterback.
Yeah, I know. Dayton's not a quarterback anymore.
The double quarterback reverse pass?
He's a tight end. He was wearing number 80 something.
Yeah.
I will have very few takes on what Dylan did.
I think people should save themselves the you don't need to have a take on it. You really probably don't have to think about Dylan Raiola this year. There's a good chance you're going to invest way too much energy and effort in it in 2027. So just like let yourself have the year off.
But what if Dante Moore gets hurt in the game before the Nebraska game and then it's Dylan Raiola?
You can always be prepared to jump in. You just don't have to be waiting in the water, hoping something happens. So there's a reason that you're there.
Sam writes in on Twitter, on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed at Happer and Schaefer. Doug let that pause hang like he expected both of you guys to freak out. I was thinking, how many Huskers are in the UFL or whatever that league is? Right,
I thought it was going to be a joke that sets up like the guy they got from Purdue that left.
Davila,
yeah.
Well, where did he end up?
Great question. Who knows? Or maybe it was a Richard Torres joke. You remember Richie Torres?
Richie. I remember Richie. Abilene Christian for Marcos Davila.
Yeah. So guessing they probably already had their spring game.
How would you know?
They're in Texas. They just start those things early.
Yeah.
Their spring and their winter are the same season.
Let's see if we got any comments on the stadium here. Real quick. Let's see. From the 402, Iowa State just had a concert on the grass at Jack Trice. Should definitely still be on the table if they want to do the grass. Yeah, but I think the idea was, Texter, I think the idea was that they're going to do like a lot of them or as many of them as they can. And so you need some time to repair the grass if you're going to do a concert on the middle. Like, I don't know. it seemed like something that Rule really wanted, and that Dannon was always okay with because Rule wanted it. And then we started to think a little bit more business minded and about Memorial Stadium. Once again, not so much.
It never seemed like a necessity either.
I think we're thinking about it now more of, it's not Matt Rule's Memorial Stadium. It is Memorial Stadium, right?
Yeah.
And while it is the home to Husker football, you don't get to choose every little thing that, like, I think that's a good, generally positive development, by the way, because I think there was a time in which Rule could have probably got anything he wanted, and maybe that's still the case. But I don't know if they're going to do that at all. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard anything to the contrary. There was a conversation that some friends of mine had about whether grass was going to be coming in, and then having looked it up, it was slated to be for the fall of 2026. I don't know how anything's like this works, if they just bring the grass in the summer, or how the transition.
Well, the whole plan was,
gone.
I mean, they did hire like a turf staff, like a grass staff, and because they built the practice fields and stuff like that. I'd imagine it's not that simple of like, yeah, just lay it down.
Well, I think it'd be just like talking about the idea of maintaining these things. I mean, Major League Baseball sent somebody out here to maintain the field for the one game that the Tigers and Royals played in 2019.
What a game.
It was a good game. That was a very fun experience. I'm glad that I went to it.
They should bring it back.
They should bring it back. That was great. There should be a kickoff to the College World Series. That game should be played on like the Thursday or the Wednesday before the College World Series.
That'd be awesome.
I would enjoy it.
I would too, but then COVID ruined everything.
COVID does be ruining things. We missed out on the Major League Baseball draft being in Omaha.
I know. That was all in the plans.
And now never to happen again.
Text from Pedro. Hi, guys. I think the Coach McDermott garage sale will be the only one will only be attended by basketball players and offensive linemen. Do you think he has any large Blue Jays t-shirts?
I mean, they might be large, but they're like big and tall large.
Like extra large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just extra long.
Extra long, yeah.
Yeah, not even extra large. He's not like he's a big man, like in terms of, but it's just he needs the length of the shirt to get all the way down.
So yeah, Greg McDermott hosts a garage sale that only are attended by local offensive linemen and prospective offensive linemen.
If Creighton had like the garage sale kind of thing that Nebraska did a couple years ago, what would you be interested in?
Oh my God, great question. There is Creighton has had so many different sort of styles of things over.
They've changed over a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like in a 20 years.
Like look at it. You can pull up each year of their baseball uniforms. And they're like, there's different stuff going on each of them. And I've liked some of them. I've disliked some of them. I like where they're settled in, obviously, right now. But great question. Great. They at the preseason dinner we did, they had some old baseball jerseys for sale, which was good. But I'm in the zone where I'm like, let's keep it at quarter zips and maybe some polos.
They probably wouldn't have any of that for you.
No quarter zips and polos.
Maybe like some extra stuff the coaches never got around to wearing. That could be available for you in that regard.
I'll take any quarter zips you got.
Yeah,
I love quarter zips.
It's the official uniform for adult males, largely 25 to 55.
Certainly Creighton fans as well. We all be wearing quarter zips.
It is the one like handshake thing of me with Creighton fans.
If
I'm pro
you
quarter
ain't
zip.
wearing quarter zips, then what are you even doing?
They're great.
What are you doing? John emails in quickly before we get to Sam. If Nebraska wants to use Memorial Stadium for many events other than football, why would they ever get rid of the field turf and its subsurface to put in grass just for a coach that is going to be fired in 3 years? Great question, John. I don't know the answer. Like I said, it doesn't seem like it's going that way. Kyle says on Twitter, Rule can't get grass. Rule can't get the money for his roster that he supposedly promised. What exactly can Rule get at this point? He's got enough money, as we talked about a little bit earlier. If you missed that conversation, you could check it out on wherever you get your podcasts. We'll take a break. Sam McKewon will join us next on 1620 The Zone. All right, we welcome you back. Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Bananas and Bangers. What's your walk-up song? Let us know, and you could win a 4-pack of sweet tickets to see the Savannah Bananas play at Haymarket Park on June 11th, $200, and a free duct cleaning for courtesy of McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air. Enter online, 1620thezone.com. That is Bananas and Bangers, powered by McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air. We're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Sam, good morning. How are you?
Good, man. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
We are good. Hey, before we get into anything overly specific, I have kind of like a whole Nebraska athletic department question for you. What team's success, and use any sports team from the athletic department, do you find to be most surprising here in the year of 2026?
Well, I mean, I think you can always say that when you make history, you've done something that's never been done before. So the Nebraska men's basketball team with that roster and question marks coming into the season to start 20-0, to go to the Sweet 16, to be, 4 minutes away from the Elite Eight. I'll take that for the pleasant surprise of the year. I think some of the other sports that are excelling have done so before or did so last year. So I'll take men's basketball. I think and it's the best kind of surprise. Like, it probably should have happened 20 years ago. It didn't. But sometimes things happen when you don't really expect it. And I don't think anybody would have predicted before the season that this Nebraska team was going to the Sweet 16. But now that they've done it, they've opened the door for future teams to do it.
They were 20-0. People forget that.
Yeah.
They were 20.
Sam said it, and I was like, I lived through it, and I still have just sort of mentally moved on from that, as if that was a normal thing that occurred.
It had. I mean, that's the only possible answer to your question, Schaefer,
It
right?
really has to be.
Yeah, for sure. It was great too. It was the kind of run that makes you think about what's possible in this state. And you guys have grown up here, so you know that, like, deep down, people in the state really love basketball. And they like high school basketball, and they like youth basketball. And, there's a history in Omaha of having the Kings up there, the Kansas City Omaha Kings. There's a heart for that sport in the state. And if it ever gets really unlocked, Nebraska could be a special program. I'm not saying they're going to be Kansas, but I'm saying they could make, second weekend runs on a frequent basis. And Fred Hoiberg appears to be the guy to do it. He can turn Nebraska into what Iowa State became under Johnny Orr. My colleague Tom Chattel has written that a couple of times, and that's true. So if you look at Iowa State basketball now, it's a whole different thing than it was when Johnny Orr got there. When he got there, it was one thing. By the time he left, which was when Fred Hoiberg was playing there, it was another. And now it's even another. And Fred contributed to what it is now. But now Iowa State is, one of these days, you kind of know they're going to go to the Final Four. Don't know what year it's going to be, but they're going to make it. And you're going to be like, yep, that's the culmination of where that program started 40 years ago. And I think Nebraska basketball can be on a similar track.
How do you feel like they have done in the portal, while acknowledging the biggest thing was just keeping Sanford and Frager?
I think they've done okay. I think, and I wrote this, they've got to make sure that the guy they got in the front court is not only just a good player, but he's kind of got to be the leader of the front court. And so you need a guy that isn't just going to, hit some pick and pop threes, but he has to go to war. And it's war. Maybe not with every team in the Big Ten. Some teams don't necessarily want to go to war with you, but half of them do. And he will have to go to war down there with whoever, Indiana, Michigan State, Maryland. Maryland's going to be better next year. Oregon will be a better team. All of these teams, you have to be prepared for combat, essentially. And so he a lot's going to be on him to do that. Like he is an important player on that team. Bryce Sanford and Cale Jacobson will manage the backcourt in terms of leadership, and then Braden Frager is going to be, that wild card every night that can go for 20. But Kapke's got to be the leader of the front court, unless they got some other guy coming. Maybe they do. They haven't signed that guy yet, and Kapke appears to have been their number 2 after Fielder, who went to Alabama. So, yeah, they need him to be an alpha. They need him to go down there and set a tone, because they lost Rink, and Rink was the tone setter, and they lost Burke, who was the fire. And so they've got to reset the whole culture down there. And I assume that Kapke and Leo Curtis, they're going to be the 2 guys that are leaned upon, and then whoever else they sign. But I don't know who they're going to go out there and get at this point.
Sam, has there been anything, as we transition over to football a little bit with Sam McKewon from the World Herald? Has there been anything in the aftermath of the sort of announcement about the future of Memorial Stadium, about the conversation that has ensued afterwards that has struck you amongst Nebraska fans? Like, I'm always interested in what people sort of glom onto, and I think there's probably some misconceptions about some things, most notably like the NIL spending versus the stadium spending and all that. But is there any particular conversation that has struck you as odd over the last 7 or so days here?
You've seen 2 kinds of conversations. The first one is partially why this thing was delayed, and that is the concern over, the prioritization of private donor dollars to the Memorial Stadium project versus what's going on in academia. What I would love to impress the people there, and I haven't really written this, but like, academia hasn't slowed down. There's a massive project in Omaha that's going on, Project Net, which is more than $2 billion. It hasn't slowed down. The things that are happening, the budget cuts that have occurred are, of course, unfortunate and difficult, but they're not necessarily related to some of the other projects that Jeff Gold is continuing to shepherd. So, like, there's multiple tracks going there, and I think they've waited long enough for the sensitivity of those issues, and they need to get this thing on the board. If they did not get this thing done on Friday, they were going to have to push it off another year.
Yep.
I mean, you have to get the supplies in order to start the process, and the supplies don't just like show up like a video game. You snap your fingers and there's the steel. And so they had to get it done, and they waited long enough, and so there's that. The second piece is this notion that, like, what Nebraska needs to do is have more money for its roster. And the reality is those are separate tracks. And it's accurate to say that there are people that want to give money to a stadium renovation who maybe aren't that interested in giving money to the roster.
Yep.
And so, like, the presumption is, well, if they weren't giving the money to the stadium, then they would give it to the roster. And I'm like, first of all, it doesn't work like that. You don't just give the money to the roster and then all of a sudden they figure out how to use the money. You have to channel that money through corporate sponsorship. That's just part of what you have to do. And so you have to leverage an operation in a way that makes sense. And then the CSC, which is the betting operation, has to approve it. And that's not like automatic. And so, like, I think there's a misunderstanding out there. Now, I will say this, Matt Rule does an interview yesterday, and he talks once again about the cost of rosters and the escalating costs and going through the roof and all of these things. And, he's not necessarily, I appreciate his honesty, but he's not turning down the heat on wanting more money. So, like, he's going out there and trying to raise money too. And, he says this is a very wealthy state, which I think is fair. I relative to what other state, I don't know. I'm not sure relative to which other state he means, but yeah, I mean, there's money in the state. Yes, there is. And so, like, he's right about that. But, that's a separate track. The stadium renovation is its own thing, and they have the money for that. And people want to give to it for their own reasons, and it's their own money. So if they want to give their own money to a project, then they should do that without, message board Joe saying that they should have given it somewhere else. It's not our money to spend. It's their money.
Sam, sometime in the next few days, Emmett Johnson is going to hear his name called in the NFL draft and go on, and we'll see sort of what career he has. If you kick this thing forward like a year from now, who do you think like the potential NFL prospects are on Nebraska's roster? I think Elijah Pritchett is certainly one of those. But beyond that, it feels like we're sort of in another run here where it's kind of hard to project that Nebraska is going to have a lot of people who are going to be drafted in the NFL as it stands right now.
Pritchett, Andrew Marshall, Justin Evans, maybe. I think people will want to have a guy like Justin on their team, quiet, tough, no nonsense, plays hurt.
Tough with that size,
things.
though.
At center, maybe. Yeah, it's possible. I would say that he probably needs to get a little bit more athletic. So he may need to cut some weight. And I don't mean that he's overweight. I mean that in the NFL, you've got some centers that are very, very quick. And they're 285, 290. Obviously, Kelsey is one that I think of. And Cam Jurgens. Cam Jurgens is not, he's 6'3", and probably, I don't know what they put his weight at on NFL.com, but he's not like 345. So, yeah, we'll see. I think Evans could play that position. It's interesting because like Henry Lutovsky is the opposite on the opposite end. He's the ideal size for like an interior guard. And I'll be curious to see if he sticks with a team because he's giant and he's strong. So I'd say Pritchett, Marshall, Evans. I don't know what the story is going to be with Calandria, but he'll get a look. He's undersized, obviously, and from there, that's probably where I'm starting. Chambliss might get a look. What if he has a great season? He can run. So one of the things about Chambliss is that you put him in a combine atmosphere, he'll do well. He'll run time and he'll do all those things. So the athletic traits with Chambliss are off the chart. So we'll see how he does. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't know that it's going to be, like unbelievable. But I think they could get a couple of guys drafted. Yeah, I don't know that a 10-player draft is in this roster right at the moment.
Even a 5-player draft. I mean, it's been pretty barren for a while.
Yeah, I think 5 players would be very aggressive too. Now you get after the 27 season, and you're going to have Isaiah Hunter and Ja'Cory Barney, and I think they're both, capable of getting drafted. And maybe a Lindenmeyer, although Lindenmeyer might technically be a senior. You might see a few more names roll in there that would be interesting for people. So I think that after the 27 season, you might have the possibility of getting up to that number. There's some good athletes. They recruited some really good athletes when they got here in the 23 and the 24 classes. The athleticism of those players isn't really under question. They haven't played a ton of football, and they were raw when they got here. So I'm thinking of guys like Amari Sanders and Jeremiah Charles and players like that who they know. I think the athleticism of those guys, and they would test well. Can they get the football part right? And this is the time when we're about to find that out. It's year 4. Some of these guys are going into their 3rd or 4th years at Nebraska, and they've either gotten better at the football or they haven't, because they were recruited for their athletic traits, and so they have those. What they need to show now is that they can play the kind of football that gets you in the NFL, and that's what we're going to see. We're going to see if they've been developed the way that Rule said that they would be.
Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. All right, Sam, we'll let you go. Appreciate it as always. Have a good rest of your week.
Have a great Wednesday.
Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald has got a mailbag up right now on omaha.com. Check out all of Sam's plentiful works. Many, many Sam stories all the time, and we love to see them. We will come back, round out the hour. A couple of thoughts on that and more coming up next on 1620 The Zone. Well, we have great news for the Kansas City streetcar. Not the Omaha streetcar, the Kansas City streetcar, which will serve the new home of the Kansas City Royals. A letter from John Sherman, the CEO of the Royals. Maybe I should read
He sent
this.
you a letter directly?
He sent me a letter.
Wow.
Royals win. Royals lose. Ryan's back with the totals after this. Today, I am thrilled to share a major step with you in the generational process of finding the Royals' next home, one that honors our past and looks confidently toward our future. I'm motivated every day to fulfill Ewing Kauffman's vision, which was that the Royals would be Kansas City's forever. For 50 plus years, Kauffman Stadium has been more than a ballpark. It's been a place where memories were made, where unforgettable moments unfolded, friendships began, and traditions were born. We've shared 2 world championships and this and this and that and yada, yada, yada. As we look ahead, the Royals' new home will be built on that foundation. We will continue our commitment to delivering an exceptional fan experience, enhancing what it means to be a Royals fan in Kansas City. I didn't know that's how you said that, actually, and allowing us to continue to build memories together. We have teamed up with Hallmark Cards on a transformative project that will include a new ballpark at Crown Center, mixed-use development in the surrounding 85 acres, and reimagined headquarters for the Kansas City Royals and Hallmark. Thank you for being part of our journey, past, present, and future. We look forward to sharing more details as plans progress and welcoming you to a new home where the next generations of memories will be made. See you at the ballpark soon. Johnny Sherm.
They're teaming up with the card?
Correct. So Hallmark has a lot of space at Crown Center.
Okay.
And that is like their kind of central, like sort
their
of
headquarters, basically.
Yeah.
I didn't know that their headquarters was even in Kansas City.
So have you ever been to Crown Center, like Union Station?
I think so.
So
I'd have to look.
Union Station, the World War I Memorial,
Have been there.
which is on top of the hill, like that. That is all generally considered Crown.
Okay.
Crown
So I've been to the World War I Museum.
Center. Yeah.
Been to the memorial.
And so I don't know what the exact location for the ballpark is. There was some talk about a neighboring park, Washington Square Park. I don't know if that has been debunked or not. I don't know. So I don't know what the official like plot is going to be. Obviously Crown Center is kind of a mall.
Yeah.
It which hosts a variety of different things, including the Hallmark Cards spot and a couple restaurants and various different shopping places inside that area. So I don't know if the plan is to, mow that thing down and build a stadium right there.
Put the park in the mall.
Either way, it's a downtown ballpark for the Kansas City Royals, which I contended was always the goal, despite the hubbub around Kansas Speedway area, North Kansas City, and staying at the K or whatever it might be. I think this was always the end goal. I think the messaging was horrible in order to get to this point.
But they screwed up the election a couple years ago.
They screwed up a lot of different things along the way. Like a lot of different things. It could have been a little bit further along. I do think this is a better site than the one that we're planning on having a little bit further
it is
north,
different than
closer to downtown. Right. And like I said, good news for the Kansas City streetcar, which will serve this area, and great news. I will say this as well. Great news. One of the first things I thought about, great news for Boulevard Brewing Company.
Oh,
Boulevard Brewing Company is going to be people already go there to, pregame Royals games,
as they should. Great place.
It's like a 20-minute drive to the ballpark as it stands right now. We're talking about a 7 to 10-minute walk at this point.
Much better.
Much, much better.
The rec deck is going to be happening.
The rec deck, they might have to build another rec deck.
A super rec deck?
They might have to build a super rec deck.
That sounds amazing.
It's like South Stadium. Just build a South Stadium on top.
They should put a rec deck on top of South Stadium.
You remember when Boulevard used to be, there's just a small little kind of tavernish sort of area with then they built the whole thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they have to build another building.
They built a whole thing.
Yeah.
That place is great.
They need to build,
it is truly great.
They need to build another whole thing for
I haven't been
this
there.
situation.
I need to rectify that.
Maybe you'll be there this summer.
I don't know. There's talk of trying to get to a game. It's hard to find time to do anything as an adult.
Agreed.
I don't understand.
Agreed.
All my weekends are taken.
Mustache Adam quickly before we take a break. Royals fans will start clamoring for new stadium having fountains in the outfield like Husker football fans have been pleading for keeping the troughs in South Stadium. I don't think that is a 1-to-1, Mustache Adam. Very unfair. Fountains do not equal troughs. I do think that they will have fountains at the new stadium. I kind of think they will. Let's take a break. We'll come back. 9 o'clock hour. One more hour to go here on 1620 The Zone. You talk to some people around these parts and they'll tell you either one of two things. I haven't been west of 72nd Street in my life. Or the other one is I haven't been east of 72nd Street in my life. Now I work a lot east of 72nd Street and live a lot in very west of 72nd Street. So I guess I'm an in-betweener. I do both as far as that's concerned. When we were discussing the furthest east in Omaha Schaefer's been since he's moved here, and we decided that it's like 200 feet from where we're sitting right now.
I don't know that I've been east of 50. Now, I've gone to the airport, so like that would count.
Oh, definitely.
But I never got out of the vehicle or did anything.
Well, this is the old, does it count when you...
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, the airport isn't Omaha to me, if that makes sense. Like, I know that it technically is, but I don't really consider it Omaha. And if you just get in your car and you drive there and you don't stop or do anything along the way... I don't know. I don't know if I would count it. So I think the furthest.
I guess I've never really thought about it that way because I've always lived in Omaha.
I'd have to see where Big Grove is because I've been to Big Grove.
Big Grove is east of here.
Okay, so Big Grove would be the furthest.
It's very slightly east and definitely south of here.
I know it's definitely south. I would say Big Grove is now the furthest east that I have been since I moved back in August.
Okay, so we're like what 4 blocks away from. So you're basically in the.
I still haven't gotten to like into the 30s. I think of the block.
We need to get you into the 30s.
I'm not opposed. I just don't have a reason to.
You ever been to Blackstone?
I keep thinking I'm going to leave this show and go to like Block 16 for lunch or something.
You could do that, yes.
And I haven't done it. I get in my car and I drive back to suburbia.
Maybe you're waiting for the right special to pop up.
I'm always waiting for the right special to pop up.
And
then I text Severe and I'm like, hey, let's go to lunch and go get this.
And the problem is, if you go there, if you go downtown, like if you go down the hill to downtown, good luck.
Well, that's part of it.
It is nightmare.
The way people talk about it seems like I don't need to court this level of aggravation in my life. So I might as well
it is a challenge.
For instance, I saw there's a new pizza place, and I was like, oh, I would like to try this. I like the name of the new pizza place. I assume you know what I'm talking about. Very important pizza.
Okay.
So
sounds very important.
They're like on 25th and Farnham. I'm never going to go there. Why am I going to be at 25th and Farnham?
I don't know. You have to actually go.
I know.
You have to make it a
I
point
want
to
support
go.
them, but it's too much hassle.
Black Cat says we had this conversation about how far north Matt has been east of 72nd. Figured he's probably missed his exit and maybe landed on Hamilton once. Yeah, maybe. Probably not very much because he either spends all of his time downtown or here, which is basically on the Dodge corridor.
Sure.
The Dodge like coming, in between that.
What was his street?
So yeah, he's really, really been very narrow. He's the narrowest Omahan I have ever met, probably.
Remember when we were going to do the Monopoly thing and then he wanted it to be streets and then he was naming random streets?
Yes.
I wonder what the furthest north street that even would have been. Maple? Probably.
I think he knows about Maple's existence. Yeah.
I mean, he's been to my house, so he's been that far north.
Yeah. Well, but Black Cat was saying east of 72nd Street.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's a very different north.
Has he explored that? Yeah.
Has he been to Timeout Chicken?
He should. He should go.
We were having a debate
we
the other day if
Florence.
Timeout is still even open.
I believe
Florence
it is.
He's been to Lisa's, I'm sure.
No, we should go to Florence.
Oh.
What did I say?
Well, isn't Lisa's radio, isn't that in like the Florence area?
No, that's in like Dundee.
What am I thinking of? There's a breakfast place over in the Florence area.
Oh, like they kind of I'm sorry, not Dundee. Like Benson, like kind of Saddle Creek, on that sort of stretch. No, Florence is way up north.
Okay. I'm thinking of something else then. I got to learn all of this myself.
Yeah. Let's take them way up north.
All right. We'll do it. We'll just do a trip.
We'll do a trip.
1620, the field trip.
That sounds fun. We'll take Matt to places he has never, ever seen. And yourself as well. We'll take you east of 51st Street at some point.
Let's do it.
By the way, I got some tweets from earlier from this is pretty good. So Sam was talking about the heights that Nebraska ball could reach.
Sure.
Sam writes in on Twitter, at Happer and Schaefer. Don't aim that low, Sam. NBA expansion means Nebraska could be on a path to play in the West and win a few finals.
Adam Silver announces his new expansion team.
It's Nebraska,
Seattle, and Omaha.
It's just Nebraska basketball
No.
with their current iteration.
They already have a former NBA coach.
That's true. He has experience. It could make the
With their
transition
first-
easier.
Their first pick in the expansion draft, Delano Banton.
I don't know if I'm that high on Nebraska basketball going forward. But it is a fascinating conversation. Like, now that you've come off the
What's the follow-up?
the
look like?
mega intense high of the season, because it's very reasonable for a fan base to say, as that's happening, if you're at all talking about the future, you're thinking, when are we ever going to lose again? Who is ever going to do better than us? We have everything. We have this and this and this and this, and everybody wants to play here and all. Like, that's just the way you think when your team is good, which is it's like a sports nirvana. It's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. But then you come back from the high of the season, you're like, oh yeah, we still have challenges, and there's still other teams that are trying and things like that. And you know, maybe it's not going like not to say it's going bad or anything like that, but it is not reaching the sports nirvana that you remember it being in March. And so, yes, what does the follow-up look like for next year? But also in general, what is the program's ceiling? What is its trajectory like, and how close is it to reaching that?
This sounds like you're shooting for a low-hanging thing. But given that Nebraska in the last couple iterations of making the tournament, the follow-up season has been a disappointment, the biggest thing to me is just make the tournament again. Like, even if you're not a 4 seed, even if you're not necessarily in the second weekend, just show like sustained success with it. And I think that would have a pretty big impact just in itself. But you go back-to-back years, and I think the expectation in that third year is that you're going to be back again. And then, you know, if you're consistently putting that together, there's probably going to be more money for your NIL operation. You're going to have a better chance of recruiting higher end players with sustained success and all of that. So,
it's hard.
It's easy to be like, well, they got to get back to the Sweet 16 again. You got Frager, you got Sanford, you've got these other guys coming in. I mean, for me, and again, I get that it's probably shooting low. Just give me back-to-back years in the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, like I understand that's not the apex of anything, but man, like for most of my life, that's been an unobtainable thought.
I'll also say it's really difficult to, there's programs that win, and there's programs that win consistently, and you have all the, I'm sorry.
You're so allergic to Nebraska basketball, even the conversation makes you break out.
It's making me sick. It's making me allergic. No, I mean, I like talking about it this way. Like, it's difficult to find, this sort of like true expected consistency, because it doesn't even matter how good you are. Half your roster is gone every year.
Right.
And so
you've got to be able to live in that playground.
Yeah. And it's just really, really hard to be, maybe you play around in the same space on a year to year basis, like over a 5-year rolling period. But the win totals and what heights you reach and how far you go in the tournament could be vastly different in this new age of college basketball that we're in.
It's to use a Big Ten example. It's why I have like a begrudgingly high level of respect for Greg Gard with what he's done.
Yeah.
Given the amount of turnover he's faced almost every year, like where you're just having to replace these high end players, and he's able to do it in that offensive system. And it's not like, I don't know what the best Greg Gard team has done, maybe a Sweet 16. But you're consistently giving yourself an opportunity every year. Now, you ran into High Point and you lost in one of the classic games of the.
Sometimes you get high pointed.
Sometimes you get high pointed, but
they have never actually his first 2 teams
made the Sweet 16.
Well, the one that he took over halfway through for Bo, and then the next one, they both got to Sweet 16s.
Yeah.
And that's it. But they're in the tournament every year, and they usually win a game.
And I understand that people get really mad when you put a cap on these things. I would love for that kind of consistency.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Just like you're consistently in the tournament is like a dream of mine. Now the tournament going to 180 teams or whatever.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I've almost just blanked that out of my mind. I've
gone up 8, right? Like it'll be 8 more teams. So it's not, but it'll eventually.
I don't live in that world yet. I'm not even there with my brain yet. I don't have time to be mad at this.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I can accept that.
I'll be mad at it next year.
I don't want to preemptively make you
Yeah, don't worry. I have plenty of time to get mad at this.
But I just like.
But I'm just trying to figure out like, not what are the heights and what are the tournament finishes and what are the low, like what is the space that Nebraska is going to be competing in?
Man, if they could just live in that 20-some win category, that's amazing to me.
Yeah, I think so. And what does that mean? You know, and it might seem, like you said, it might seem like shooting too low, but you're middle of the pack in the Big Ten. You're probably a few games over 500 in the conference. You got a couple guys who end up in the NBA or in the first.
That would kind of be the next step is like you have players that are consistently playing in the NBA.
That's really good.
Really
I mean,
awesome.
I think that could be that's the space that Nebraska can be playing.
Yeah.
I hope. I'm not shooting any higher. Like, but I think they were in that space this year and they started 20-0. And so that's the complicating factor with all of this.
Right.
I think, because that's when people start dreaming. You started 20-0 and you were a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. And for a long time, you were looking like a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. And I still think they were the team, you know, if you simulate the season 100 times, Nebraska doesn't win 27 games 100 times. Like Nebraska probably wins like 22 games more often than they win 27.
Ooh.
You know?
Even with sort of how the schedule broke.
See, that's where you get a little bit like, you know, who was available on what.
I don't think they maximized over 27 a lot more than that.
That's what I'm saying. Like that was a
but I think
very
in
high end occurrence.
The 25 to 27, I think, is the most likely outcome. Maybe 25, the most likely outcome.
Right.
I think low 20s probably sells it a little.
And think about what you had to have to get there. Think about the continuity and the sort of, not once in a lifetime, but once in every few years sort of, you know, lead up that you had to have to get that team. This, like, I feel like that's sort of being ignored. It's ignored about how much they overachieved because of what they had. Right.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like, what does that mean as it applies to the future? We'll see. But at the same time, any more visibility you can get and making a Sweet 16 run is going to give you visibility. Then that's going to help you out in the long run in the future. So yeah,
no doubt about it.
I don't think they're going to the West Finals anytime soon. But by the way, a lot of people reached out. And said the Florence breakfast place is Harold's. Harold's.
I have been to Harold.
I have not been to Harold's.
Okay.
You have been to Florence.
Yeah, so when I first started dating Shelby, one of the things that we would just like do pretty frequently was try to hit Omaha breakfast places. So I got to a lot of those. Unfortunately, a lot of the ones I like Leo's was my favorite. That closed in Benson. Leavenworth was great. That unfortunately closed. But yeah, Lisa's and Harold's and all of those different ones.
All the just random the regular names.
Sat at the counter, I think, at Harold's. It was in like a
good job
in a bar stool type thing.
Was it good?
I was not on the higher end for me, but it's one of those where I struggle with it because I feel pretty strongly you have to go to a place like 2 or 3 times before you can really give like an overly strong determination on it. And it could have just been off that day. I don't know. I could have been off that day.
Maybe you were off.
We went and played golf afterwards. This was weird. We had like the stretch of where we would get breakfast and then go play a random 9-hole course in a small town.
Man, those were the days. What was the
We went to Elkhorn Valley.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I vividly now remember all of this now that it's been pointed out that it was Harold.
Thank you, April, for putting the actual name on it. Lisa's in the Cathedral neighborhood. I gotta get that one straight.
Okay.
So
I like Lisa's quite a bit.
terrific. There's a lot of good breakfast places in
There
Omaha.
are.
That's for sure.
Great breakfast spell.
And most of them are east of where we sit right now.
Most of them are very far east from where you and I live.
Very far east. We'll take a break. Lauren Michelson will join us on the other side on 1620 The Zone. All right, we are joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Lauren Michelson from KETV. Good morning, Lauren. How are you?
I'm gonna try to sound more positive. right now.
Was that the first time?
First time she heard her open.
Oh my God! Yeah, because we've heard it before, so we sort of just tuned it out. But yeah, that's a Joey Colbert masterpiece. He is not here to
celebrate.
He's not here to celebrate, but I believe he was very proud of it.
Oh, 10 out of 10. I promise I'm a lot more smiley and excited on TV. You guys get me when I'm just kind of like in the morning having, just in my thoughts.
You get morning, Michelson.
And you can make it, it's a radio producer's dream. You can make it sound however you'd like to make it sound. You can tell a lot of the story with no context.
So there's morning Michelson and there's late night Lauren.
Oh yeah. Late night Lauren is a little bit. I mean, because we're used to I don't get off work till 11 o'clock at night.
It's very different.
Energy comes around 2 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Okay. All right, we'll keep that in mind. Going for maybe we'll pre-record some interviews or something like that. Going forward.
We're just hitting her up at 11:05 p.m.
Yeah, everybody's got it.
We got to do the show in 7 hours, but it's fine.
Okay, so we came up with this idea a couple weeks ago, and we're just now getting around to bouncing it off of you. And I don't know what, Schaefer, why did this happen?
You said that you wanted to do it.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, that's basically the basis of it.
So I think that if there's a lot of logistical things that would have to happen, but I think that we should switch jobs for a day. I think you'd be fantastic at hosting a radio show. That part would be easy. And then I would crash and burn on television, which is what I would mostly be excited for.
This stems from, and I don't remember exactly how we got there, but we were talking about like a sports cast or the sports desk, and Happer's like, I would love to do a sports broadcast.
Just one. Like I always told my baseball coach that I wanted to be a catcher for a game, but I was horrible.
I was like, why don't we talk to Lauren and see if we can do a switch? And she does your job for a day and you do her job for a day. And then someone reached out to Andy Kendi, who immediately agreed on the trade. And so now we just need to figure out the logistics of when this is going to happen.
Now we just need to get the okay from management. But either way, I'm on board for this. Does this include Happer wearing one of my dresses on air?
Sure.
Is that part of it? Are we switching uniforms too? Okay.
No, I don't think so. We don't go full that way. But I would look like a TV person. I would probably wear a suit or something like that.
Okay.
And you could look like a radio person, which means you could wear literally whatever you want.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Great.
Do you have a quarter zip that you like?
Gonna throw on a hat and a sweatshirt and be so happy and not wear makeup for a day. I love this idea. We'll put you in an IFB. You're gonna learn how to stack, write, produce the show. All the magic behind the scenes that you guys don't see on a day-to-day basis. This is great.
Fantastic.
And then you can chat it up with Ramby and Bill Shamer and Julie Cornell at the desk and do what we call some cross.
This is going to be great.
I was trying to think of like which one of us would be more like liberated, because Lauren, I would imagine that you would like to get some opinions out / talk for more than like 2.5 minutes, and which is why we have you on the show, and you're very good at it. And then I sometimes desire talking less, so like 4 hours compared to the, all the work you put in to get the 5-minute, newscast ready to go. I don't know. I wonder who would be more excited about their one day in the job swap.
You're right. I think we would need to do it for like a week to really get a feel for how things
just
go.
Enough to get annoyed by it and then go back to the other thing. Yeah.
Exactly. No, I'm all on board for this idea. Great thoughts.
We got to figure out when we want this to happen.
Tremendous.
I am on board with it entirely, largely because I would never want to do Lauren's job. So the fact that that Happer wants to.
I just want to try everything. I told you. I mean,
I get it.
I wanted to drive a dump truck.
You did. We made that happen.
Yeah,
that really happened. It was a radio.
Sometimes I just want to try a little bit of everything. That's all.
Great. You can make that a new series. You try a new job once a week.
Oh,
they follow you around.
I
think they mic you up.
Not quite like dirty jobs, but like odd jobs or whatever.
Happer job.
Odd job.
Yeah, odd jobs. Okay, we can make some sort of thing out of that. All right. Anyway, How's it been? We haven't talked to you in a couple
while.
weeks. How you been doing?
Yeah, good. We've just been you fill time now. Like baseball, softball is big. You're watching the transfer portal, and then stories. I think I spent all day yesterday in Kansas City visiting the Royals. I'm not going to take credit for the win last night.
Oh my God!
But they needed some good luck, and I was there. So you're welcome. If you're
so you
Royals
did
fan.
bring a win. You went on the road and someone won. We've only seen this a few times before.
Was not always the case, exactly. But no, we kind of are mapping out our College World Series coverage plans, and some of that has to do with preview stories. But usually I go down to the K once in April or May and I talked to Jack Caglione, Pete Alonso, Ben McDonald was there in the call for the Orioles, and then Isaac Collins for a story as well. So we've got some fun stuff coming on KATV in the next month, and it was good just to get out of Omaha for work for a day too. But I did miss a great softball game last night with Nebraska and Omaha.
Did you ask Cags or Pete? Because I believe Alonso has one of the very few batter's eye home runs at Charles Schwab Field. So I think he would actually have the record between the two of longer home run in the ballpark in downtown Omaha.
He does. He still owns it, and he was so coy about it. He's like, yeah, I mean, when you're up there, all you're thinking about is just like you want to win the game, and you're on the biggest stage, and it doesn't matter whether that's true or not. But the coolest thing these guys talk about is like, you know, it's such an honor to be there and playing. And Alonso even said he felt like it really prepared him, given this was 10 years ago for him, so much different than Cags, but it really prepared him to be a big leaguer and playing on a stage like that. But it's so cool to hear these guys just say, Omaha is just so awesome. You have these fans frying gators in the parking lot, tailgating, and crazy fans. And Cags was talking about visiting Rocco's. I didn't ask him if he bought a Jello shot or not. I'm sure he did a few times. But they just love Omaha and have such fond memories playing there, which is so cool to hear.
Real quickly, I want to shout out an event that's awesome if you have the opportunity to see it. I think it's open to the public. I happened to see it because I was doing a radio show that was going on, like the batting practice. Like Cags,
the open day.
Watching that guy hit batting practice for like a 10-minute stretch where everything he hit sounded like a cannon was incredible in that stadium. Lauren, I am kind of I'm kind of fascinated. You're a Kansas City native, I believe. How do you feel about a downtown Royals ballpark and both of those stadiums that I'm sure you spent a fair amount of your childhood at? They will no longer be, and you'll have two new stadiums in the Kansas City area.
Yeah, honestly, I am a little sad about it. Like, one, I don't love change to begin with, and I think what made Kauffman and Arrowhead so special, what makes it so special where it is that it's literally in the middle of nowhere if you've never been. So there's nothing around it. So you're committing to really being there all day. You're not going to a bar before, maybe going in a little late, leaving a little early. Like, you're going to tailgate and get in early. And it's just the tailgating atmosphere there is unbelievable and unlike anything else. And it makes it so special. So I'm going to miss that a lot. So if I had it my way, I'd say don't change anything. I understand Arrowhead, the Super Bowl champs, needing a little bit more and the opportunity to have it covered and host more there. Fine, I get that. But they announced they're moving the K to Crown Center. That was leaked like a half hour ago. So I feel weird about it, Crown Center. I can't really picture that.
I know.
And then I'm also wondering, like, what is Crown Center going to look like with? I mean, it's all going to be gone as we know it too. So a lot of change. I'm not sure if I'm thrilled, but I think, you know, it is what it is.
Hey, you mentioned it though. I mean, the change that happens within like a fan base when you are a tailgating fan base and you have to go out there and it's got you set aside the entire day. The ballpark is 30 minutes away from wherever you're going to be, compared to this, where, I mean, one of the things we just talked about it when we saw the news get out there a few minutes ago was like, think about Boulevard Brewing. You're going to be able to walk from Boulevard to the new stadium when it happens.
Amazing.
People will be walking downtown and just walking on into the ballpark. It's great. I love it, but it's so different.
It's different. It's different. Yeah, and that is cool. And I I think like now, like as someone that doesn't live in Kansas City, the thought of visiting and being able to just go and be with friends and family at our bar and walk in is appealing. But I'm just going to hold firm that it's just, you're never going to match what it was they're moving with the times now. They're going to be a walkable ballpark. They want to be like a walkable city and all these experiences. It's fine. I think there's pros and cons, but I'm gonna miss what it used to be.
We're jumping around a lot on today's show, and one of the conversations we were having right before you came on was about breakfast locations in Omaha. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, what have you discovered? And maybe because you are late night Lauren and you don't want to be morning Michelson, maybe you're not a breakfast person, but when you have had breakfast in Omaha, what's your spot? Where do you go?
Yeah, I know I'm a big breakfast person, especially on like the weekends. I really like Good Looking in Dundee, if you guys have been there.
Yeah. Okay.
That's one of my favorites. La Peep and Exarban, fantastic. I probably don't have any like really good off the beaten path answers. So if you have any, send the recommendations my way.
There are many.
Here's the thing that I've noticed. So not only are there a lot of breakfast places in Omaha, they are always crowded. I don't know where the people come from to crowd all the breakfast places at all times of the day, but apparently, Saturday mornings, Omaha's population goes up to
People like breakfast.
They're all full. It's incredible.
The diners can have success.
You can barely get in.
But you have to have a big weekend because I just don't think the weekdays can really do it for you. So you got to have the big weekend.
Right.
All right. What's on the horizon here? Like you said, we got a bunch of different stuff going on at the moment. What are we covering in the near future?
Well, I'll be at Creighton Omaha baseball tonight, so hoping for some continued beautiful weather. And then I'm going out of town tomorrow. I'm going on vacation for a couple days, and then we'll come back very ready to get to work in May. But we're taking a little bit of a break. I'm kind of bummed to be missing Nebraska softball's senior day festivities this weekend, but happy to be taking some time.
Getting tropical?
Florida.
Okay.
So,
tropical enough.
Sun, beach. Can't ask for more than that.
Tremendous.
You
All
really
right.
can't.
Have a great time. Enjoy. Have a good rest of your week and a trip. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.
Lauren Michelson from KETV, who's in for the Job Swap 2026.
Yeah.
Job Swap.
Did it make most
2026.
sense? Did it make the most sense to do it over the summer?
I think so.
And then, like, what would
It's
you be?
the top? It's not like the topics are going to be very overbearing,
Right,
You
yeah.
know? Like, but here's the problem. Like, if I had to actually go out and report a story, that's where it gets challenging.
Or it could be fun.
It could be. I mean, it could be fun. I could do it
Yeah, you could definitely do it.
in theory. Yeah. The lugging of the camera.
That is the part of it that it's
the-
like, okay, you're going to go out to the
I
storm
always see
chasers
the Lauren
game.
and the others lugging the cameras everywhere. The lugging is not what I'm here for. No lugging.
I'm always amazed at, like, you have all these TV reporters, they're carrying this thing around, they have to hold it on their shoulder, have a tight shot, have no, like, I'd be like bouncing back and forth to get it to be comfortable. I wouldn't want to do it.
Too much lugging.
Yeah. This is why it's an all you thing.
Well, as it usually goes, I start to regret it once it gets closer and closer, but then I dread it a little bit, and then I ultimately do it, and it's fun and whatever. So we'll see. We'll take a break. We have our bracket sim, and we have created a new. We have created a very.
Dude, we
fun
got to get to
bracket.
work on this thing.
We have one tenant of the bracket that we know. We just have to fill in the rest of it. We'll describe that to you a little bit when we come back and round up the show on a Wednesday on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. We got a couple minutes left here. We're still finishing out this bracket. We wanted to do it where we told you we'd do this yesterday. We've been doing our college baseball bracket sims of the day. And we told you we wanted to make a regional based on the winner of last night's Kansas-Nebraska game. They were the host team, and that happened to be Kansas. So we're giving Kansas a regional. We're putting Nebraska along with them. And then we wanted to put in Creighton and Omaha in the same regional. So we're doing it. We're putting in Creighton and Omaha as 3 and 4. That's the one thing that we know. Then we have to fill in the rest of the bracket. So Schaefer and I have been doing a deep dive on college baseball bracketology, of which we need 5 more, I
Southeast
believe,
Missouri State
conference champions from poop conferences.
the Ohio Valley.
SEMO, right?
SEMO, yeah. They spell it out though, so I think you have to spell Southeast, and then it should pop up.
There they are, the OVC.
We'll go Mercer for our Southern representation.
Yep, they're going to Stark Vegas.
Let's keep finding conferences that I haven't used so far.
We need 5s for Atlanta, Auburn, and Athens.
See if you can get Winthrop in somewhere.
All right, Winthrop, I think you're going to Atlanta.
I don't think we've used a Big West,
South. That was the Big South.
Yep. I feel like we've used a lot. Do we have a Mountain West? Try Washington State.
Okay, Washington State. You're going to be coming to the South. Sorry. Washington State. One more.
We need one more. We've got a Summit. We've got a West Coast. Lamar
in the Southland Conference. All right, we have a bracket. I don't know how much.
I'm kind of proud of how we've done
Yeah,
this.
it makes at least a little sense.
We tried.
But we tried.
Well, there's the cool thing about this site is there's rules.
By
It
the
wouldn't
way-
allow Happer to do, like, you had to have it in a certain way.
By the way, we are missing. We screwed this up because we are missing 10 conference champions.
Oh no!
Because some of the 3s are going to be
yeah.
So we took all bubble teams. Like every bubble team made it, unfortunately. So I'm sorry to the ASUN, the America East, the A10, the Horizon League, the Ivy League, the MAC.
See, it gives me I could have looked
the
for these
Missouri
things.
Valley, the NEC, the Patriot League, and the SWAC. None of you got teams in the tournament this year.
You got a lot of Big South teams.
We took all the bubble teams. So with that being said, all that is just to sim this one bracket. And I'm going to sim it now. Here we go. Kansas has won the death region in Lawrence. Nebraska, it gives them a 41% chance to get out of it.
Whoa.
Creighton a 5% chance, and Omaha a 0%.
Whoa. Campbell 4-seed run.
So yeah, Kansas won the death regional. Campbell is a 4-seed who has made it out of Chapel Hill, and then to a super where they would play at Regional 2 Arizona State, who also upset Florida in their regional, and then beat them 2 out of 3 and make the College World Series.
Wow.
Campbell Camels. Welcome
That
to
would
Omaha.
be a very popular Connor World Series.
It would be. That would be a very popular
People
Omaha
would
team.
love to wear the Camels gear.
And the rest of it is pretty relatively chalky. I mean, UCLA, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Campbell is one side of the bracket. Then Texas, Oregon State, Auburn, and Kansas. Ooh, vaunted and hated Kansas.
Yeah, people would be booing Kansas.
People would be booing Kansas. They would not be waving the wheat.
Now, with the Connor World Series, would they have as much of a disdain for Kansas?
Connor World Series is equally welcome of everybody except Nebraska.
Equally welcome of everybody except
Nebraska,
the biggest local team.
that's what makes it the Connor World Series.
Oh man, the Connor World Series. I don't want the Connor World Series.
No, many people don't. Many people don't. That is absolutely true. All right, that's our bracket sim of the day, ladies and gentlemen. The World College World Series champion is won by none other than Texas A&M, who beats Texas. So revenge on Jim Schlossnagel.
Wow.
And Trev Alberts has his day in the sun.
There'd be a lot of booing.
I don't know if anybody would know who to root for in that series. That'd be very confusing morally.
It would be.
Very
It would
morally
be.
confusing championship series. But people will be rooting for Campbell until they go 2-Q. All right. That is going to do it for us today. We appreciate you listening. As always, if you miss anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Let's do a crossover with Matt coming up next.